L's last comment says, I'm guessing 629 for you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to another Saturday night sci-fi Shadow Chat. Tonight we're going to be talking about space pirates. Sorry about all the mix-up, but I did put the time in the title as close to the beginning of the title as I could. I don't know what the hell's wrong with the people out there in TV land. Not you fine folks, but the YouTube, StreamYard, whatever. It clearly says 6:30, and it is now 6:31. Welcome to the show, Justin. I'm going to bring Omen in here because
Hey, Omen.
we do around here. What's happening, guys?
Not much. Just trying to, work out my knee. So everything's doing pretty well.
Work out. Oh, your knee. Yeah. Sorry to hear about that, man.
You just have to foam roll it enough, and it'll break up the muscle so it can allow that tendon to relax. But yeah, other than that, everything's pretty good. I can't complain.
Cool. Well, get well soon. I'm sure you'll be fine in a couple of days.
Yeah, I won't be doing any squats or anything for a while, but I can walk pretty good.
That's yeah.
Leg day. Leg day is never a good day.
I that's what I did today. I was I guess doing leg day. I was on my feet for about 8 hours. Had to wake up bright and squirrely. Jackie had a parade in our town. He needed to be there at like 8 p.m. Right,
a.m.
A.m. Yeah. So I've only been awake.
It is a server issue with Shadow.
I had to get up at 6 p.m. today. I had to wake up early.
I know, right? No, I've literally only been awake 17 minutes, which was plenty of time to have a bowl of ice cream, a cigarette, and get up here just in time and make a phone call. Howdy, Raven. Howdy, L. I don't know if anybody else is in the chat. I don't think so. Just you guys going back and forth. Oh, hey, it says Owen's in the chat too. So we get up, we get him to the parade grounds or whatever at 8:30 time. He's supposed to be there. He's all freaking out, and we proceeded to stand around till 11 o'clock, 11:30, and the parade was over at 12.
So let me get. No, is this for his ROTC stuff? Welcome to the military. It's called Hurry Up and Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cigarette flavored ice cream. Ooh, that would be freaking awesome.
Cinnamon.
I'd be the only one buying it. But yeah. I mean,
sounds like puke in a bucket.
Yeah, I know you'd say that. It's a small town, but there were some fantastic cars out there for part of it was a Christmas parade. I mean, why not? It's only December 2nd, right? And there was at least one brigade of different Volkswagens and then some other cars, and they had the parade grounds set up on 3 different streets, all heading down to one street. So I was with Jackie, and I only got to see 1/3 of it because as soon as he started marching off doing his thing, we were out of there because it would take like 45 minutes to drive to the end of the parade grounds because of traffic, even though he ended up waiting for us for like 15 minutes because they were done. It was like apparently a 1,000-yard parade. That was it. You go and you're done.
Come on! If it's a military, even a 1 mile parade takes them 20 minutes to go from one end to the other.
But he looked good. His unit looked good. He was more or less the most decorated guy in the entire area that I could see, and I'm just like, everybody else stayed home, said, man, we're not doing the parade. It was kind of weird, but it was fun. Got to see some cool stuff, and then did a bunch of chores, did the grocery shopping and stuff like that. And he's not here tonight. I hope he's watching He's over with family, bringing grandma home, and you guys know how I feel about that. Yeah.
Somehow, I'm just waiting for him to get his how do I want to put this? His license. He gets a hot rod, and you see her come back with like completely white hair and this horrified look of just where she's petrified with the fingernails in the dashboard.
Yeah, that would be funny. Yeah. Yeah, he's almost ready to take driver's ed. That's going to be scary. He's going to be driving around.
I need to figure out when to do that with my son. He doesn't want to do that, but he's already driven the tractor around plenty with his mom. So,
oh yeah, he's been behind the wheel before, and it'll be fine. He's a responsible, sort. And while Omen and I were in Bo's game, I hope Bo shows up tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna mention one thing, and I know Bo's not gonna like this too much, dude. If you're ever gonna just do this, just put it out there and like, here's your big list of items. Okay, you don't have to go through one item after another. Like
I was expecting an ambush while we were doing it, but and
he dragged you through the entire list of the inventory of something.
Yeah.
Well, they were in these big shipping containers. We had to move them and go through each one a certain way because of the way they were stacked for security purposes, But I think we found our ship. Just saying, I hope that's our ship. Seems like a nice big comfy place, a big difference between from what we were going through all cramped in that little cutter. It's going to seem like a mansion if that's the case. Jackie with a hot rod, so an El Camino with hydraulics playing ZZ Top. That's funny. That's I must have heard like 8 ZZ Top songs from one of the parade attendees there. Wasn't awful, but not my favorite.
Jackie's just going to look like what is it? Was it Grandpa Munster where that had the hot rod?
I could see that. Yeah, and he had a slightly cute cadet next to him, giving him a hard time the whole time. Clearly, probably not his type, but she was trying real hard. You know what I'm saying? When a girl punches you, she likes you. At that age, you know what I'm saying?
That was so many domestic abuse situations. If I'd known that.
I don't know.
So what have you been up to, Justin?
Well, just now I was watching As You Like It, the Shakespeare play on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's that? Kenneth Branagh?
What's up, Curtis?
No. I don't know who was in it. It was the actual production.
Oh, okay. So you watched. Okay, because I know Kenneth Branagh did a lot of the Shakespeare stuff brought to the big screen. I did like his Henry V.
Yeah, I saw it years ago.
With Brian Blessed in there too, which is probably my favorite actor anyway, even though he plays himself every time. But he steals whatever he's in.
What's up, nerd? Hungar. Calling us nerds.
Hungar. Haven't seen you all day. I've been away from the computer, so don't take it personal.
I've been going back reading through some of the old Choose Your Own Adventure books that I, from my teenage years, and I still enjoy them.
So the topic's space pirates, huh?
Yes, it is. Sorry, I'm expecting. I'm supposed to be in another playtest tomorrow, and I was expecting some info from the guys via email, and no. So okay, that's good.
We'll get there.
One last thing to try to have to read on some sort of freaking time schedule. I don't know, man. I need someone to read for me and just mentally put the crap in my brain because I bought like nothing but books this month instead of miniatures, which is
That's okay, I guess.
and it took me like 15 days to get through a 60-page module, and I'm still not done with it. But I did pick up some good books, some stuff I'll review, some stuff I won't. Oh crap! I should put my...
That's all right. I went through my Lone Wolf books over the last 24 hours, so I went through all 5 of them.
And you read them all?
Yeah.
Fuck.
What the? Well, okay, you're not human.
Well, no. These are like your choose your own adventure. You're only probably reading about a third of what's actually in here, but
okay.
And they're big, nice font too. They're like a good 12 point. It's,
okay, because otherwise, I'm still highly suspicious.
No, it's not. Come on. If you're going to do role playing, you'll spend 4 hours doing that. You can go through books pretty quickly. When I was a kid, I used to go through.
No, if I read more than 5 pages, I'm in literally a coma.
Oh,
really? I don't know what it is, man. My brain's just. Hungar, what are you doing? Get your ass in here. Oh, because I didn't put the link in, did I?
No.
I was trying to get, James L. and
just sabotaging everybody, while we started off.
A couple other folks here in the chat. I wanted to get a couple other people in here who haven't been here in a while. I invited Mac and Bo and these schmoes and no Bo, no Mac, no James L. Sorry, guys, I sent you the link, but first come, first serve. And, if worse comes to worse, I'll just kick Justin out.
Yeah, I see how it is.
I've never kicked anybody out. The only person I ever kicked out of the show was Jackie. Can you believe that? And that was by accident.
No.
Bring in Curtis. Curtis, you're welcome to join the show, man. No,
you kicked that one guy out that was spamming you that one time.
Oh yeah, but I don't even know his real name. So
exactly,
it doesn't count. He's just a troll. And to be honest, that was kind of amusing. I guess that's one of the trials and tribulations of being on YouTube, I guess. But as Bo would say, it's fine. It's fine.
I gotta go back and watch that episode because I remember coming in just as that was happening, turning the video on, and I never actually caught the full story on that.
He was just some random dude that wanted to come in, and then he would give us some weird sort of long-winded joke, and then he would bip out. It was kind of funny, but
was it? Yeah, and I don't know what the video was, but that was the only thing. I'm like, make sure they get rid of that.
Yeah, but that's how I met Brian. I will on occasion, let somebody in that I've never met before, and usually it pays off. We become friends, and then I get to hear him and Cindy Smallberries every Friday evening. That's worth its weight in gold. Just watching Bo cringe every time he does his thing. Definitely.
Well, we all have to cringe. It's like he plays the most annoying, female he could.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna,
you have to
do something like that. If you're gonna do something like what he's doing, I think he's doing it perfect.
Of course, he's doing it on purpose. But that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. Well, that and it's just the things that comes out of that guy's mouth sometimes. I swear to God.
Well, he stays in character.
Yes, he's very good at what he does. And Brian, if you're out there in TV land, get your ass in here because I'd rather talk to you than about you.
He was trying to get me to ask Bo to join the game. I'm like, I don't know if I'd fit.
You know what? I know Bo loves the system, but I do not like GURPS. I just don't. The system is actually what I don't like is I don't like character creation. That's what it really comes down to.
Yes,
the GURPS system is okay.
Yeah, I haven't had any problems whatsoever, other than how do I put it? When we get experience points, what I want to spend the points on. I don't have the books, and going through PDFs and stuff like that is just kind of it's
Can't
not
you-
easy because I have so many in my various devices. I got to figure out which one I downloaded it to.
It's analysis paralysis in one part, and then the other part comes down to it's a little bit too mechanical in certain cases. But how I really love is I do enjoy life path systems. I think every game should be using life path systems. It makes it a lot more fun. The other thing is it unless you're someone that really wants to delve into it, to me, character creation should take about 5 or 10 minutes, and you get a character that you enjoy, and that's there. And that's part of the fun with Traveler when they did theirs is, do I push it or not? It's
Mutant Chronicles was the same way. It was I absolutely loved it. I totally agree with it for the most part. Although I don't see it really working out that well with a fantasy like D&D kind of game. Trying to do the life.
Conan does it just fine, which is a fantasy style. Yeah, Conan does it. But again, you're not, how do I want to put this? You still come out with the character with the same number of points and everything else, but you just go in different directions on what's there. And but when you start narrowing people's choices to about 3 per step, you can put in 10 steps. It's just, oh, well, in this step, I'll do this. And then that kind of says, okay, now write a little, half paragraph about your character doing this, and it sort of creates its own backstory before you even start. That's what I think Conan did a good job. I'd like to see what they do with some of the others, but it's just like I know I got into an argument. I know before we get to Space Pirates of where people, well, your first level character is this. I said first level character literally says in first edition, you're a veteran. A veteran means you've already seen combat. There's reasons.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And with AD&D, for example, where that comes from,
it doesn't have to be much combat either.
With AD&D, a first level fighter, let's assume you rolled 5 on your hit points, and you got your con bonus of like 2. You run around with 7 hit points, which is more than the next nearest 1,000 people around you, townsfolk and things like that. They'd all be looking up to you. Maybe, there'd be an officer in the military or something a little bit higher level than you, or maybe even a lot higher than you, but you're still way better than the average, blacksmith or, porter or, not the bartender, because the bartender's always like 12th level. But, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, all those guys are going to have like 2 to 7 hit points. That's it.
My problem with that from a role-playing perspective is it can limit your ability to play certain archetypes. Like if you're a blooded person, how can you play a pacifist? If that's something you want to go through psychologically with your character.
Well, yeah, if you're a fighter, but if you're a fighter, I don't think you're going to pick that as your profession, right? If you want to be a pacifist.
Exactly.
Well, but coming to terms that you need to actually pick up a weapon and fight because you're in those situations.
Or maybe you were a fighter. I mean, maybe you are a fighter, and because you killed someone, you've decided to, go with, the staff or, your fist and your feet or something like that. So
those are still not pacifist options.
You shouldn't be a pacifist. You're playing D&D.
I'm just saying, like, if you're role playing, right? Like you want that as like a struggle, like a psychological struggle for your character. It limits those options, and that's one thing that the structure of D&D is very. It's a holdover from the wargaming time period, right? But.
You're too much of a 5e person there, Justin.
No, all editions of it.
And I liked when Gary
and even the variations, like the OSR, like
back in the day when Gary was had put out those books, I kind of appreciated it. It made me feel like I was amongst other people who like to read and like to enjoy the same things I did, and I know the titles aren't perfect. You're a necromancer at what, like 9th level or some crap. That was kind of dumb because the necromancer is a very specific type of magic user, and I don't think that at that level you instantly start behaving like a necromancer or whatever. But most of the other ones I get. I was fine with it.
It could be justified as like you're at a level where you're needing to dabble into dark magics to progress your skills, but
Right.
making up
Kind
in
of like
it.
I saw this video. I saw this video about Yoda a couple of days ago. How he supposedly, trained in the dark arts once upon a time. You have to
Yeah.
excuse my dog. I think Amazon.
The dog's better than the smoke detector, bro.
Hey, I don't hear shit except the dog barking and you guys yapping, or vice versa.
Drag over a dresser or something and stand on it. God damn it!
If I could, I'd show you the smoke detector that's in this room.
Yeah,
I put a battery in it. It didn't stop beeping.
that means the sensor is dead, not the battery, because the sensors have a lifespan.
And I covered the entire smoke detector in a roll of clear plastic tape.
You just twist. You just.
There's no way any sound should be coming out of it.
I just heard it right there.
Yeah, I did too.
You just grab
I
it.
think it's actually coming from another room.
Just twist and then pull down, and it will come free.
No, it didn't. It's like hardwired into the.
Yeah. There's a little clip. You press the clip.
No clips on this one. Otherwise, I would have just yanked it out because we have other ones that have clips. But this place is kind of old, so I don't know. It could be coming from the other room, which I'll check.
They have to be replaceable because the sensor has a lifespan.
As Elle and I both argue about the same thing. Hey, telling you, Elle, if you look at the actual things that are in there, you have experience.
I'm actually pulling out the player's handbook. I'm actually pulling out the player's handbook right now.
You know what's interesting is, and this is the important part that everyone's forgotten
first level veteran.
On the newer editions, look at what hero is. Hero's like 4th level. When you start looking at the levels, the idea is that you were kind of kick ass by the time you were like 3rd or 4th level. And all too often all the modules were 5th through 7th in many cases, or 4th through 7th and 5th through 9th. People forget about that. They always look at the high levels like, no, you were supposed to be pretty heroic by the time you were even 3rd or 4th level. And then you were really competent at like that 6th level. You were like, oh, what was superhero? Was superhero what, 7th or 8th level?
Something like that, yeah. Champion was around there as well.
Exactly.
Which was fun back in the day before we actually had like the deities and demigods book, to where we could sort of imagine our fighterly characters at least, being something akin to some of the other heroes from mythology and that sort of thing. Trying to picture, are we quite Thor like or that sort of thing. Of course, then we got the deities book and went, what? Thor has 400 freaking hit points, and then later on, as we got older, we went like, Thor's only got 400 hit points. What the hell, right?
Well, you know what I showed with my with that monk. Once you get up high enough, you can do enough damage. No, that's just a joke. But let's go to space pirates here. Too much.
And this has actually no bearing on Bo's game. I don't hope to be a space pirate with this particular character. I've done it before, and I was actually thinking about it, realizing how horribly wrong we did things like that in Traveler back in the day. Space piracy is piracy on the high seas was way easier and much different. You could get away with a lot of different things back then that you wouldn't be able to do in a high tech society. The best you're going to be able to do is, I think, grab the loot.
There's still piracy.
Oh, certainly, but actually taking the ship, that's like that's not even going to happen.
I disagree on that. I think that in many cases you would. I mean, just like they steal ships nowadays. They steal whole what is it, 200,000 ton vessels currently.
Yeah, and then
Really?
just pull them into port and
Well,
live off
here's the thing: is you have to have safe ports, which was, to be honest, that was true even back in the day.
Right.
You know,
That's
that's
what I
the
was
thing.
thinking.
Whenever we talk about space pirates, what it really comes down to, now, this is how I want to put it, is piracy exists at the edge of the universe, not or the center, at the edge of the empire, not in the center of the empire. And that's
Mobius.
you know, that's where I think that people forget about it. Is like, you're already at the edge of the empire, where everyone kind of pays lip service, if anything, and the government doesn't have enough power to go out there to enforce its edicts. And only whenever it gets extreme do they send out that, which is fun on both sides. You know, while we're talking about piracy, where we have to remember, you also have the pirate hunters and the pirates themselves. And
right. I was mostly thinking of, you know, when we get to that sort of point where we're out in space doing the things, that there would be like tracking devices so built into the vessels, you know.
Would there be, and still, like, what's your level of technology in breaking down those refined materials into, like, so you capture a ship, you take it to your port, you don't then just slap a new decal on the side with a name and sell it. You rip it apart and use those parts to build different ships.
Or what you do.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was thinking, El, is that they would have, you know, transponders and you know, other weird devices that would allow the company to.
Now, though.
But right. I mean, they have those, but guess what they do? They rip them out, they repaint them, they get repatriated by some other nation that turns a blind eye.
I usually would just think that in a sci-fi,
they get stripped for parts to be sold.
Right. That I can see. Again, I wasn't thinking of having, you know, a home port, and I would think that it would be a lot more difficult to yank out the black box type of device, because it would be at like the core of the ship, not like, you know, right there in the cockpit. You just open a panel and pull the sumbitch out. I mean,
a lot of times you just cut whatever's going. I'm going to say like modern day, and the Chinese actually executed some. You had a corrupt official, and what they would do is they would capture these oil tankers or cargo ships. They would basically launder them through the port. They would get repainted. They would put a new number on the side of them. They would get re-registered, and then they would put them back out to sea. That's the same thing that would happen. And while we're looking at three things, which is you're looking at your Corsair, your corvettes, which are basically pirate hunters. You're looking at your pirates themselves, and then you also get your privateers. And a lot of times, you know, you get the privateers aspect, but you know, whenever you're playing in space, there's a large area out there where the government can't control. Well, and that's part of it.
And that area is veriform to the method of faster than light travel you have, right? Because that could be just outside of every single solar system in the Empire, or it could be the fringes of the Empire, depending on your method of moving between worlds, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're a skipper drive like they have in the Traveler 3200 or whatever it's called.
If you Derek's in a good mood this morning. God,
if you have something that could waylay a ship on its route.
Well, the only time that they find the VIN numbers, they have to go check it. Yeah. If you're at the edge of the universe, they're not going to, you know, you don't take your pirate ship into the center of the galaxy or the center of the empire. Yeah. It's always at the fringes. No one checks that stuff. You know,
and
I would think
not like first can't be ground off and a new one etched on in vehicles today.
No, I would think that it would be some sort of electronic registry. Your codes would have to match the.
That's what a VIN number is, bro.
No, I mean, you would have to transmit it, and it would have to, match other signals embedded in it and things like that. For the people who are actually in charge of, receiving that information, it would have to go through a couple of different.
It's called spoofing, though. You can spoof it. You can have multiple transponders, so you can spoof that. You can have different IFFs, and then the other part is, where everyone assumes that they're going to go through this, but again, if you're at the edge, you bribe the harbor master, and he just turns a blind eye. If there's a bunch of it, this happened. To be fair, this happened in the 1500s when there were tons of piracy, or the Age of Sail, in the 1600s. It was only the well-established cities that would actually follow it. If on the borders or the edge, a lot of times governors would look the other way, or hey, you did me a favor, I'll let you come in, change your flag as
Sure, things were different. Real quick, Mobius, that was a great book, H.P. Piper. That's like the essence of Traveler. So many of his books.
Yeah. Well, it's not even.
That was being hysterical tonight.
Yeah, it's not even like you got a governor turning a blind eye. The technology to alter those signals exists today.
It is a boat, L.
Welcome to the show, Grandma.
Just like a helicopter's a plane. No,
yeah.
You may not like the term, but it is.
Yeah, and the technologies are analogous, right? Like,
yeah,
you'd use the same. It'd be more equivalent to a submarine, but it's still the same technologies used.
A lot of the same technologies.
Well, and it depends on how far in the edge of the front. The problem is that I think that we're looking at it if you're in a
vessel, not vessel.
Yeah,
vessel.
If you're in the center,
very good.
It's just like Firefly. How close to the center of the galaxy, the empire do you want to be? At the edges, there's never enough people out there. It's just, it's like, okay, here's your one ship. Good luck. We want you to stop the piracy. It's only if the pirates get too big or too or too bold, then they'll send out a fleet after them. So you want to kind of ride that middle edge.
Right, and I think it would depend on who was on the craft that you were pirating. As soon as you start grabbing people that are really important, the word's going to spread. So I think
well, there's always that chance.
A lot of piracy. I just picture it being more about like the old train robbing, where you just want the cargo, and if everybody minds their P's and Q's, you just leave. You don't kill anybody unless they get mouthy. You take their cargo and then you get the hell out of Dodge.
Well, that was pirate. A lot of pirates did the same thing. It's only whenever you went to the extreme. Now, sometimes they would grab certain ships, but what are you going for? And the other part is let's look at Caesar. Caesar was captured, and what did they do? They ransomed him back for money. It's like, okay, that there's nothing wrong with doing stuff like this. But
when you start blowing up the ships or taking taking or killing the wrong people, and word gets back. That's where the real dangers I think would lie. Taking a ship, for example, in Bo's game, look how hard it would be for us with our character party and everybody involved to actually have two separate ships. You need a lot more than.
Can I stop you for a minute?
Yeah.
You're referring to something internal to you and Omanow. You're best to explain it for the audience.
Yeah, I was trying to get there. We've only got 6 people with various skills to try to pilot and navigate starships, which is way different than sailing vessels. If you're on it, you kind of know everything you need to know about keeping it afloat.
Well, did you ever play the game Pirates?
No. The Sid Meier one, no.
Yes,
but I did play the Black Cat, The Legend of Black Cat for PlayStation. Freaking awesome pirate game, but I never played Sid Meier. I saw it, but it looked like a little bit too sort of Sim City kind of ish, not like my thing.
Well, but see, that's where a lot of this comes in because they used a lot of historic there. And RPG Grandma's right. They did have cities like Port Royal was known as being so bad that when the earthquake happened and put it in the sea, they actually went there. It depends on the ships, though. A lot of them would leave. The other part that comes into it is if you burn the ship and you kill the crew, guess what? The crew tends to fight. If you If you surrender, you take what you want and you let the people sail off. Every pirate was different, and depending on what they wanted.
And it's also kind of different with sinking. Taking a ship and sinking it versus taking a ship and blowing it up. They're still going to find some wreckage. You know what I mean? They're still going to, the authorities are still going to be able to track it to something happened to it here, and depending on the tech level, they might be able to figure out, how or why it blew up in the middle of space, as opposed to it being an accident or just lost at sea. It's sunk, and you'll never see it again.
Well, I mean, that's what a lot of it. Well, and to actually go look at the history of pirates, even
modern and you cut off.
Well, yeah, but even modern piracy, it's look at history for stuff. That's always important for looking at things and how it's done. I mean, you still have Somali pirates going out there, and they usually ransom the vessels off. And it's only whenever they get the wrong vessels, also a lot of the military comes in. Well, and you say, space opera or hard side. There is, but really, for the most part, historical gives you great aspects. It just depends on how you want to play it from there. If you have like a small empire and it only goes this far and there's nothing beyond, then piracy is going to be much less than if you're going to have an expansive empire and where there's a defined edge. That's
also defined on how brutal your regime is at controlling expansion beyond the borders, the approved borders, right? Because you could have some colony just outside the defined edge of the empire that's also performing piracy and is more likely to be a safe harbor for pirates, if not employing them to grow its commercial fleet through capture of ships. Because I could see that, like you're talking about turning a blind eye to ships being registry changed in a harbor, but you might do that because it could be the life or death of your colony's sustainability going forward, having a growth in the ability to bring goods in and out that you wouldn't have had because some major shipping company in the empire just doesn't give a shit about your destination. But now you've got a ship that is moving goods that wouldn't have been moving them before.
Well, there's the other part too, is we're also looking at a single empire. Remember, there's also where there are two empires there, and you can go from one to the other, and this is why privateers always occur, is if they're at war. But if they're not at war, but they're not allies, and one is more corruptible, which is exactly what happened with the Chinese.
Well, it doesn't even have to be corruptible. It could just be, I don't give a shit about your property, right? That's not necessarily corruption. Corruption's an internal thing.
But there are two different things I'm responding to. One is if you have countries that are not allies, then they don't care as much. If you have one that's easily corruptible, then it's not an act of war. The problem is when you start looking at privateers, that's very different. When they say, "Oh, well, we'll let you steal whatever, we'll just turn a complete blind eye," which is why you got that's kind of what started the War of 1812, with the Shanghai and stuff like that. Was it that one or the XYZ? Anyway, I can't remember. It's one of the ones in there where that was part of the problem of, we'll take sailors off of one ship to, basically make them into slaves on another. Again, it depends if it's done by nations or individuals. And I think that's what, when we're looking at it, I don't know how we all feel about it, but whenever I play, I don't want to play in the middle of an empire. I don't want to play the super political aspect to it. I want to be at the very fringe and the edges, because that's where you get the most freedom and excitement.
And opportunity for action and adventure. I find the closer to the hub of an empire or civilization like that, the more laws and rules you have to follow, and the more restrictions there are, and there's unless you're doing like a murder mystery or something like that, which is fine, and that's where you want to be. as opposed to out, in the boonies. There's also, more opportunity for, alien, interaction, meeting, first contact scenarios and ancient ruins and things like that. All the stuff that for me would make up a good sci-fi yarn.
You want the political involvement to be like a side justification in the background. You want it to be like the hook to instigate. You don't want it to be the mainstay of your story, because then you're just doing paperwork, and
it depends on the type of game you want. Again, if you want to play a very political game, you want it in the center of your empire. If you want,
I kind of like the way they did it in Firefly when they had to go into toward the core to make that heist on the medical planet or whatever. The feeling that gave me as the viewer that they were going from their comfort zone into the freaking heart of the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, DM Beelzebub right there, what he's talking about is go look at the Expanse and where they had the Mars and Earth, and then the Belters. The Belters are the ones that engaged in some piracy out there. And they knew that they did. And a lot of people turned a blind eye because that's how they made additional money. But it couldn't get out, but it depended on where you were and, how far out did you want to be from regular society. It also means you're not going to get the best cutting edge weaponry and everything else.
Right. But it gives you also more of that whole sort of Western feel. You're on the frontier. You never know what's going to happen out there because it's unexplored. And, any number of, plausible excuses could explain away what happened to that lost ship or that lost armada, or even what happened to that colony.
You say this is true, but Omenau said didn't have the most advanced weapons, but that was a plot point in the Expanse. The Belters had a revolutionary weapon. So yeah, maybe they don't have the most advanced stuff normally, but sometimes they got something that is just like
a necessity
no
being the mother of invention. Necessity being the mother of invention. You're going to out there on the frontier come up with new technology, whether it's a new wagon wheel or a new, weapon of mass destruction.
And if you're talking about the Expanse where they're using the rocks, I mean, that was done by Heinlein long ago.
Well, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about the thing that they thought the Martians had with the cloaking field, or
which they bought off of them.
Did they buy it off?
Because that
was the other way around.
No. What happened was that the Mars kind of lost a lot of its momentum, and so people started selling off all the high tech stuff, and the Belters were buying it from them. So they're buying the cloaking fields stuff. Yeah, that was part of the. At least that's how it was in the series. I don't know how it was in the books, but
I don't remember that in the book. It might have been in the later ones. It wasn't in the first one anyway.
Yeah, but no, that's what they did in the later seasons. Is that they literally bought that.
Okay. It wasn't in the first book. That's all I know.
Now, I'm not sure if you're referring to the Spelljammer or any Spelljammer. If you're talking to the big giant manta ray looking thing, I don't know that was a pirate ship. I thought that was more like a small city out in space. That just so happened to be a legendary ship.
Cities, man.
It's when we talk about Spelljammer, all I can think of is Spelljammer is basically Pirates of Darkwater put into space. But those are the things that come, and then people do talk about pirate kingdoms which occur. You can have pirate codes, and that's
believe it or not, from what I hear, the pirates actually had quite a few rules and regulations. It wasn't all chaos. It was rather structured. They had a lot of rules, regulations, taboos, things that they just
You'd be
adhere to like
surprised that on the edge there's a lot more structure than you would think.
I think the
yeah,
other
again, necessity being the mother of invention. You will find, when you're living out, in the wild, you have to adhere to some basic realities. You have to be more careful out there than you would in the heart of a big city.
Well, here's the other part too is, skilled labor is much less in those fringes. And the other part is, higher technology requires higher maintenance costs. So if you suddenly don't follow certain rules, then you're not going to get your best technicians. You're not going to get your best engineers. You're not going to get all of that aspect to keep your ship running, and let alone do your harbor masters or your port masters or whatever you want to call them. Are they going to even allow you to dock? Are you going to be shot before you come in? Where are you going to sell your goods? That's the other part everyone forgets about is fixers. Just because you still have to sell.
You're on fixers.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You mean fences?
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, the old Shadowrun style of what they're
I
called.
never played that game, but
No,
I figured
they're
that's what you
called
meant.
that way.
Yeah.
And other things. Yeah, no, I was just trying to let you know when you were cut off because you keep talking.
No, I know, but a lot of times I'll stop. So actually,
It doesn't sound like it because you're still talking when you come back.
Yeah, I see how fast. But well, those are but some of that just comes into some of the whenever you talk about pirate, if you're going to be a pirate, look, especially if we're going to look at small places, look what Blackbeard did to Charleston. He shut down all traffic out of there just so he could get some stuff to treat syphilis.
Yeah, well, when your parts are on fire, you'll do just about anything to make that stop, or so I've heard.
I don't think it's a so I've heard situation with you there, Shadow.
Yeah. Come on, even I know.
I think it's
well, and to be fair,
it's still a situation.
I mean, this is why I think that it's great to look at the old stuff. Is especially history on piracy. Blackbeard was ignored for a long time until he took piracy back up again. And in certain cases, they would actually give you pardons. Hey, I promise never to commit piracy again. And they said, okay, I'll give you a pardon. So that's a big thing in there too. And that's, if you're in a colony, it's like, okay, I'll turn a blind eye as long as you give us certain goods.
20%.
Yep. Yeah, it's an economic situation. Absolutely. The other part is, and not that we normally deal with it, but if you actually look at a lot of the old pirate ships, which had hundreds of people for the crew, after a certain point, they wanted to get off. Like, okay, I've done my tour. I want to leave. And then they would go drink and everything else. And so, when we talk about destroying ships, well, let's be honest, the sailors their lips will move and everything else. And, depending on how well you do, depends on how many people join your crew. That's the other part.
Yeah, I'm actually playing a space pirate in a Traveler game coming up next year at the beginning of the new year. And he's retired. I'll let you guys know how that goes. I've never actually played one in a Traveler game. I've NPC'd them, but as a player, never had the pleasure of doing so. It's going to be kind of fun, I think.
I want to mention this here, what Grandpa's talking about with the economics. It's not necessarily like, okay, so what's your tech level? How durable is your technology? Can it be built and then last with low maintenance? Like even the Millennium Falcon didn't require a lot of maintenance. It was a bucket of bolts. Do you have automated maintenance systems on top of that, like droids? Because this lowers your cost in that section. And then still, sorry, is the main point. Does your crew even know that they're on a pirate ship, right? Because if 80-90% of your cargo is legitimate, but that other 20 to 10% is hinky, your crew might not know.
Well, I'm going to bring this up because piracy and smugglers are
Yeah,
they're
well,
somewhat hand in hand. Is let's not confuse the two. Piracy is going out and stealing and attacking stuff, and smuggling is just bringing contraband that you don't want taxed or the government to know.
But for most of what we'd be doing in a role playing game, they would be in the synonymous category, right? Like that difference you mentioned is true and real, but I can see like most of what you'd be doing would be smuggling.
Oh hell no! If I'm going to be a pirate, I want to be a damn pirate.
Yeah,
you know, the smuggling is whenever I want to be kind of low key and and get people in and out, and I want to be a trader and make actually additional money.
yeah.
I gotta ask Al real quick. How the hell do you even know about One Piece? I mean, you're older than I am, and I know about One Piece, and I can't stand it, and I don't know
It's
even this
everywhere,
much.
bro.
I don't even know this much about it. I know. I just hate the art style. It just looks so, I like anime. I like anime, but that particular style just bugs the jeebus out of me.
The other thing is if you look at it, smugglers tend to be very small groups, and so a smuggler is perfect if you just want to do a very small RPG group. Like, to be honest, what we're playing with 6 to 8 people, that's better for smuggling. If you're going to be playing from more of a military style ship where you have about 300 to 400 crew, that's when you go to piracy. Because you have to have a crew large enough to actually make it worth boarding and taking the ship.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have a lot of extra, men at arms, hooligans, whatever you want to call them, willing to, put on a suit and breach the other ship and risk some pushback.
That once again goes to your tech base, right? Do you have combat droids? Could you be 6 or 7 guys on a ship that's carrying 200 combat droids?
Well,
or do you do it sort of, you buy a bunch of your buddies buy a ticket on a ship and you go all 9/11 on them and try to take it over from inside, only to meet up with the rest of your group in the middle of space somewhere with.
I've seen that story before. I've seen that story before, not in RPGs, but I've seen that story in novels and stuff.
Well, and I think it's a good thing for going there. And to be fair, if you look at the old pirates, this is why I keep on mentioning stuff in the 1600s and things, is all you have to do is when you had your harbor masters, and this happens even today, when they're going over, they have a list of all the equipment and stuff. So sometimes the pirates will come in and specifically only steal like those items that are marked on the containers, and then they'll leave.
I want my case of Napoleon brandy. Once I got that, I'm out of here.
well, we joke about that, but that's worth it. But you may go down there and say, okay, well, what I want? Well, I don't want the potatoes. Everyone has potatoes, but by God, we've got the super rare, the vintage wines. Absolutely, Okay, we'll grab that as well. We'll grab it with the high tech military equipment, and I want that one. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, right? Like you say everyone's got potatoes, but you got a starving colony looking for a new crop source. You just need to cut a potato in half and shove it in the ground.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with that. But that's not something that's going to get a lot of money comparatively compared to other things.
I'm just
not only that, but not just the cargo, but the possessions of the passengers could be the sole reason for doing it. If for example, the Titanic, where that woman had that stupid piece of jewelry, someone could actually be just after that, and that would be when
what was that called, the heart of the sea, or
something.
Well,
but imagine that someone wants that particular item that that a passenger has, and they hire a group of pirates to make it look like, you know, it was just incidental, but in reality, that's what they were after.
I'm going to bring the other part too, is depending on, you know, what kind of leniency do you need? You know, if you're going to go out and destroy a lot of ships and start murdering all the passengers, there, you know, there's not going to be any quarter given.
At some point, yeah, they're going to figure it out.
And the other part is, and this is the thing that, you know, when people talk about war crimes and stuff, and everyone seems to forget about it, you really want your opponent to surrender. You don't want them to fight to the last man.
No,
because that's just wasting your resources more than theirs. So you know, it's like, oh, okay, and that's what they always found out, is every time that massacres were heard about, all of a sudden the other side's resilience went way up, and they're like, ah, oh, crap, you just made our fight a lot harder. Well, in RPG, Grandma's bringing all this stuff up. Well, you know what?
Then why aren't you in here, Grandma? I put in the link.
Yeah. Well, piracy isn't legal either, El. So, you know, I'm not sure that really matters.
Right. And that's a good one. Part of the ocean. And I gotta bring up, you know, when you
that was the name of the necklace.
When you throw aliens into the mix, you know, maybe that's how that particular species of alien, you know, that's their thing. They're all pirates. You know, that would make for an interesting situation, because, you know, maybe it's you know, it's out there on frontier space and everybody's thinking it's somebody else, but it's actually this group of aliens, and, you know, they're, you know, off the beaten path somewhere, and that's just what they do. And, you know, solving that mystery could be, you know, kind of fun, you know, having to infiltrate the pirate group and finding out it wasn't them, it's not them, they haven't been doing, you know, any pirating over in this particular quadrant, and, you know, trying to track down, you know, so and so, because they were, you know, kidnapped or whatever, and lo and behold, they're working away in the salt mines of these lizard people off, you know.
Well, hey, stop taking enemy mine and using it in your campaign.
Enemy Mine was a good book.
So long since I saw that movie.
You know, they the production company, the studio forced the production company to add the mine scene in because they thought the audience would be too stupid to get the title of the movie.
They weren't entirely wrong now, were they? You want to hear something tragic, though? Check this out. I recorded on a cassette, Enemy Mine. Mm-hmm. And I'd seen it before, and I was having an ex-girlfriend watch it for the first time. And I was like, here, check this movie out. And we're watching it. We watch it all the way till almost the end. Didn't get the end. The end was cut off because it was just a little bit too long. I know, right? Almost the best part is that scene at the end where he's reciting the stuff that, you know, it all was, you know, trying to, you know, come to that conclusion. And
well, and I'll be honest, is if they didn't have the mine scene, I would have felt cheated in the movie anyway. But see, that's the other part too, is while we're talking about that is, you know,
it's too intellectual for you there, Omana.
No, actually, because to me, I like mine scenes. Otherwise, it's kind of a boring movie without something in there. It's kind of a boring movie otherwise.
Well, it was meant to be an intellectual piece.
Yes, but if it's not going to be commercially successful, we're not going to get more space movies.
That's not how that works. I always hear that.
Look, just because you work for Disney doesn't mean anything.
I don't work for Disney, man. Don't insult me so.
Well, you just said, hey, let's lose money. No, but those are the great things.
Yes, but they don't produce anything intellectual.
Yes. Well, okay, you win.
Mark this calendar date there.
I win all the time.
No.
No, but you were going through the scenario with
aliens.
the aliens doing the piracy on the edge. The Lost Fleet series by Jack Campbell. I don't know if any of you've read it. The premise is you've got the two governments, and the aliens are secretly manipulating both of them into an endless war. And one of the ways they're doing that is by making the others think that, like, at the beginning they start with small bits of piracy on the edge to ramp up tensions. Then they trick them into this battle. But yeah, you can do that with aliens, having them do the piracy and forcing two governments to think the others are actually the one.
Well, here's the other part.
it.
Here's the other part too: is if you start, we talk about piracy, but we can also talk about what the pirates also did, where they attacked the small colonies at the edge.
Yeah,
and then they finally send a group out there. And
that's true.
We keep talking about if we're pirates. Let's not forget the what I would call your
you could be pirate hunters.
Orbit. But you're also using your anti-piracy. Hey guys, we need you to go stop these pirates out there, which can be very frustrating for your
Connell.
Which can be very frustrating for your players as well when they're supporting the pirate who is supporting the pirates. So then we can trace back where the bases are.
What the fuck are you doing?
Okay.
Is this interpretive dance?
No, I had auto. YouTube was still going in the background. I thought I closed it. So I'm like, I had one of those moments.
So it was interpretive dance.
El, you talk about nebulas and stuff, but I hate saying this. Most people don't realize just how big these things are. When you start doing it in space, nebulas really don't do crap.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get something that's 4 light years across, you're not hiding in there. Good luck,
You're not hiding in the rings of a planet, okay?
Yeah.
Who recently did like a space pirate type thing that I enjoyed the hell of? Oh, Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Never seen a single episode. Never will.
You should watch Rick and
You're
Morty.
missing so much sci-fi goodness.
Yeah, I
watch it, bro. If you like the Venture Brothers, you'll like Rick and Morty.
Yeah, pretty much.
Again, I don't really like the art style, and
grow up.
Grow up and watch better cartoons.
Wait. You like South Park, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear a damn word from you about art style.
Considering the fact that it was done by 2 people.
Yeah, that's bullshit, man.
It was originally by 2 people. Now they have a whole staff.
But they kept the same artwork, and they have a full staff now.
Right, because that's what happens when you get successful. You can do shit like that.
Well, Rick and Morty is extremely successful.
Yeah, but I understand the creator is.
Yeah, he's a retard.
Yeah, I don't give retards my time or.
I don't know.
That's what you pirated. We're talking about piracy.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about Community was fun too for a lot of that.
Justin.
It's the same creator.
Yeah. This show is better because Chevy Chase is not in it.
Everything's better with Chevy Chase not in it,
except for Fletcher.
In Caddyshack.
Nah.
Buys Like Us.
No.
National Lampoon's Christmas.
All those movies would have been better without.
You know what? I really didn't like National Lampoon's Christmas, so I'm okay.
I can't stand those kind of movies. I absolutely. I don't want to watch somebody else or some family or some group of people suffer through all this crap just to get to the end and go, at least we're alive. Yeah.
But there was a tertiary.
I've never had a day that bad, and I don't want to watch somebody else go through a day that bad.
But there was a tertiary plot in the original Fletcher movie, well, the book, about them getting rid of real currency.
Okay, so anyway,
never seen it. Never seen it. I know. I'm going to stop saying I never seen it and just find the time to go watch it.
Hold on. We have all of next year, so we can go watch Space Pirates or Ice Pirates. Right? All of next year, we got 52 weeks.
Connell, my first movie pick is Ice Pirates.
Of course. Okay.
Yeah, well, he's
Thank you.
picked
So I
Master of
just
the
put it off
Universe.
till then.
And,
Thank you, Justin. I owe you one.
yeah.
That's a serious solid.
That's right. I'm picking my first pick's He-Man, Masters of the Universe.
Oh, thank you, because I just watched that like enough months ago to where I don't have to watch it again.
You gotta watch it again anyway.
I know, I will. It wasn't awful. I actually liked just about everything I saw Dolph Lundgren in, even the Punisher. And I know that was
love the Punisher movie and Polite Society. Good sir.
And what makes you think for one hot second this is polite society? This is the internet. That's the last thing.
I was about to say Omenau's here, so of course it's Polite Society.
His knee would say otherwise.
You're not wrong. Whoa.
It's called a callback. Makes no sense. You're muted, bro.
No, I'm intending to be muted. I'm yelling at my son.
Okay. No, you yell at him in public like a decent father.
Oh, okay. All right. It's like, okay, son, do your guitar lessons. There. Everyone feels better.
Say it with more fury and throw a bottle at him.
I don't do that. You know, I put
It's called acting.
I put my son through enough torture by putting him in the cold pool every day he's with me.
Wow, I was going somewhere else with that in my head. That's fun though. Back to Ice Pirates.
Well, hold on real quick. You know why William Street or Adult Swim is bankrupt is because that's the karma they get for canceling the greatest cartoon of all time, that being the Venture Brothers. They deserve every.
I thought that you were talking about the Oblongs.
The Oblongs.
Oh Jesus! Oh my God!
The Oblongs.
I've seen I think every episode of that, and I don't know where you're coming from.
Oh, I love the Oblongs.
It wasn't awful. It wasn't even bad. I just don't know that I would even put it in the top 100 of all the cartoons or animated.
Well, see, and the other one is Metalocalypse, which is the other one.
That's definitely top 5.
I always wanted to make a Space Marine chapter based around the Bettys.
The who?
The Oblongs. Remember the group of annoying rich girls?
Then I don't remember it. And Colonel Kronk, welcome to the show. With a comment like this, you can come back anytime.
It's, but
you
no,
just spell team a little better.
Well, but okay. Let's ask the simple question, because we've been going through a lot of the historical. If you were going to run a pirate campaign in space, how would you get your players? How would you set your players up for it?
You just put a bottle of rum on the table, and it would happen.
I don't know. Maybe have like a evil things you're doing this minute. Die roll chart.
There is.
See laugh. It was a great show.
There was a module out Pathfinder called Shackle and Skull.
Paper?
I get that you don't like the system.
No, I don't care about the system one way or the other. I know nothing about it.
All right. Anyway, there is a module that came out of it called Skulls and Shackles or something like that, where the parties wake up on a ship because they've been Shanghai. Now you could take that module, flip it on its ear, and do it out in space.
Well, I wouldn't be flipping around here. It's just moving the setting location.
I absolutely despise that as an intro to a campaign where you're.
I get that you don't like it. I'm just saying it's
been done to death, and it's kind of like the other one that I'm not a big fan of, the Amnesia. Even though Brian's playing an amnesiac character, I get why he's doing it, because he's totally new to the campaign and the setting, and it kind of works. But starting a whole party off with amnesia, or starting him in chains or in a cell or something like that, it's just like
I think
I'll come into the game later. You know what I mean?
For a pirate setting, it could work because you still have your backstories, right?
Sure.
I could do it. And it might actually be a lot of fun to force them to try to get their ship back, in addition to escaping the jail or the prison or whatever.
Well, no, you don't worry about getting your ship back, right? You've been shanghaied, right? You're in enemy territory now. You have no idea how far away. Maybe you're from a world that is pre space tech, right? You're from a society that's regressed, but not so far that you don't understand what the technology is. And you decide to do a in quotation marks prison break and take the ship and go a pirating in the empire that captured you in the first place.
I'm gonna bring the old, like the Conan stuff and things like that, which is, hey, at a certain point you're allowed to challenge the captain. Once you challenge the captain, you beat them, then you become the new captain. Or if the old captain is failing, they throw him off, and then you get elected and say, okay, we go from there. Well, that was part of what but a lot of it is you have. But if you're going to be setting it up, to me, you have to have your corrupt port master. You have to have you have to have a colony that is willing to accept stolen goods. You have to have it large enough where they can actually recruit additional pirates. And then you have to have a decent enough ship that it's better than most of the merchant ships out there.
Firefly.
Yeah, we've already talked about it. That was a smuggling ship. But,
Firefly was not a pirate ship for the most part. Because
you could use the system, the RPG Firefly system, as a system to do a pirate type game out of.
Does it have ship-to-ship combat in the system? I don't know it. So.
I don't remember. I played it. I played it a couple times. The DM kind of flaked out on us. Or, I don't know. I don't exactly remember what happened to the game. But anyways, but there was enough. I think there's enough meat on that particular bone. You could possibly get something going. I mean, same with Dark Heresy, although I don't think I want to be a pirate in the world of Dark Heresy.
Well, no, that's Rogue Trader.
Rogue Trader.
So, well, remember there's like 4 or 5 different systems that all use the same rules. Rogue Trader's the one where of course, Rogue Trader's the kind that the expectation is that, hey, I'm going out, and that's more of a privateer style, where you have the sanctions of the Imperium to go out and to break a lot of the rules, and they'll kind of look the other way in most cases.
Hungar's here.
Yeah, I was just about to say Shadow, the Hungarian, but he was typing something on his phone. It might have been important, bro. He could have been.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, you're not supposed to be back there.
Yeah, no shit. I was just asking. I had a sneaky suspicion. What's up, brother?
He couldn't resist the nurses. That's the reason.
Yeah, the nurses up. Lord.
Yeah.
Your audio's fading.
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
Okay, yeah, now you sound better.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, I put it all up in my face.
Yeah. Noise
as long
canceling.
As you're smiling, we're all, it's all good.
I was just on a channel where the host of said channel was showing off some of your new shirts that you have in there. On your
Hombres Barlow show.
Yeah. What was it? I like the shirt. It says, if I'm in my garage swinging nunchucks in Crocs, keep on driving by, because there's something about pregnancy, and I'm like, that's good.
So if I'm in my garage practicing my nunchucks, wearing my Crocs, keep on driving, because I'm in the zone and I ain't got no time to get you pregnant.
You're just wrong, bro.
My favorite is one of my favorites is Bukkake is technically a baby shower.
Hey! I got Janet with that a couple weeks ago.
What? Bruce is like, I'll send you a link later, Janet.
I got her with a new one today, but we'll talk about that some other time.
I just got stitches.
Stitches from what happened? You get an accident or something?
No, he snitched on his brother.
Stoma tour.
Oh no!
Oh,
Oh
Yeah.
crap, man!
And I was bleeding a lot out of my stoma. So
oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to be fine, right?
yeah, I'm gonna be here for a little while because they just pumped me up with pain medicine.
Oh, I see. See, you wanted to enjoy the high with us. I can dig that. I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah.
So we can get like a contact high from just hanging out with you. That's awesome.
If I don't pass out.
That wouldn't be the first time.
If you do, we'll just take out our Sharpies and draw shit on your forehead.
Hey,
Like
I have
that
one
before.
question for the panel. Justin, where the fuck you been all day?
I went to brunch. Then when I came home,
How are we supposed to give you any
there
respect
was
now,
Subway.
Justin? Now that we know that you went to brunch,
Well,
No, I was
you-
thinking
you-
something similar.
I don't care what any of you fuckers say.
You
Brunch,
didn't forget your purse, I hope, right?
yeah,
well, my
Brunch-
friend didn't.
I got your back, Justin.
he was
Yeah.
fine but he forgot his high heels. That's the problem.
Oh,
It
No.
was-
What?
I don't wear the high heels in the
Taylor
relationship.
Director has two brothers.
Derek, I had ice cream just right before the show. I woke up, I had 15 minutes to get on the show. I was dreaming about ice cream. I made it happen and made it to the show on time.
Steak, baked potato, and macaroni and cheese today.
Are you going to make it to tomorrow's show on time?
I we'll have to talk about that later.
I don't know if I want to watch fucking
Fury?
yeah. I hate that movie so much.
You know what, Justin? I agree with you.
Oh man, now I want to watch it.
It's
I
not
want to hate it too. I
horrible.
want to hate it too.
It was pretty bad.
I don't
It
think.
was-
Try to go out of my way to like war movies. I like war movies, especially war movies with tanks. But they kind of fucked the. Yeah, it was not good.
Oh.
Yeah.
They were what, driving in an 88?
No, they were driving in
Yeah.
M2A3 or something
What's
like that,
happening, Bear?
or M28 E8 or something like that. It was a Sherman. It was
Too much shit that just wasn't believable in that movie.
Oh, there was a lot of things believable in it. It's just
I didn't pick it. This was
Buddy's on. They're not going to jump under their tank and shoot themselves in the head.
yeah. Well, I said a lot, not all.
look. I can say that there are movies that aren't that realistic, but I have to say that I did enjoy T-34 much better. But
Don't get me wrong. Starship Troopers is not realistic, and I like that movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's one of my favorites. Absolutely love it.
it's
And it's not even
horrible after
accurate
reading the
to
book.
it's not even accurate to the book, but you know what? If they would have just, called it like Starship Trooper something or other, changed the name a little bit, it would have been just fine. Just give it a different
actually, I
name.
like the bugs. I did not like the fact that they got rid of the power armor. The
Yeah.
power
Of
armor was
course,
the-
the power armor was the
The,
shit.
the power armor, man.
the power armor makes an appearance like in the third or fourth or 12th film.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
does.
Oh,
Okay,
dude,
okay,
you gotta read the
you-
book. You gotta read the book, Mobius. Even though it ends like because Heinlein just said, I'm tired of writing.
Well, the character died. That's the point. Of
Heinlein
the
does
ending.
that with all of his books. Is the problem?
I'm doing
I don't
it's not
think
just this one
My Girl
book.
Friday
He
ended
did
that
Time
way.
Enough for Love. He did on Glory Road. He did it for
Really, Glory Road? I don't remember that being the case. What were you gonna say?
I think he did. Sorry.
Hungar? Sorry.
I said I'm doing my part. Starship Troopers, where they're killing the bugs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like the way that they did the bugs better, but I remember playing the old Avalon Hill game, and that's kind of what I wanted to see in the movie.
The bugs still hold up
I've got a
today.
copy right here.
The bugs still hold up today. If you watch
Mhm.
it, The rest
Yeah,
of the
they do.
movie doesn't, but the part.
Well, they got some names right, so that's all that really matters.
I was watching Ghostbusters the other day because I like the original Ghostbusters. I'm like, I want this movie to be a sci-fi movie, but it's not. I mean, it has advanced equipment in it, but it's not a sci-fi movie.
You know what? I watched the other day, and it scared the shit
I'm
out of
count it anyway.
Look, I'm telling you, my
Grandma,
favorite ice
you
cream
really
is
should.
still
You should.
my favorite ice cream is cinnamon mint. You know,
I watched
What the fuck is that?
Nefarious the other day.
Which one?
Cinnamon mint ice cream.
I've never seen that once in the grocery store.
I know.
What's wrong with butter pecan?
Of course you do.
Y'all drive me nuts.
It's
What
not
did you
that
say?
hard. You just grind up some mint, and then you put cinnamon in there. I've had.
I was just telling Raven because she told me her favorite ice cream is chocolate chip mint. And I'm like, why the hell would I want ice cream that's going to taste like toothpaste? I'm going to brush my teeth right afterwards.
Shadow.
Maybe because it has sugar in it. That's why Shadow. So it doesn't taste like toothpaste.
Okay. Ice cream does not taste like toothpaste. You Philistine son of a bitch.
It depends on what flavor toothpaste you use.
We'll fight you.
Yeah, I had this really good toothpaste when I was a kid called Bubble Gum. Tasted like bubble gum.
I've had that. That's not actually it's not awful. You know, especially when you're a kid.
What if toothpaste tastes like mint chocolate ice cream? Have you ever thought of that? When's the last time you had some chocolate in your toothpaste?
Exactly. You know how many more people, including myself, would have better teeth if toothpaste tasted like chocolate? Goddammit.
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah.
You.
Hey, Bear, if you're still there, if you want to start the stream, I'll jump over there and drink with you because this is going to make me drink. They keep going. I'll end up drinking here.
Okay, I'm going to ask this. I'm going to ask this.
Ever eaten mint chocolate ice cream?
Yeah.
I've had alcohol flavored ice cream.
Have you ever eaten mint chocolate ice cream?
Oh, I have, yeah.
Yeah, I've had all sorts of different flavors, but I've had cinnamon
butterscotch is
ice cream. But man, when I
I had some too when there was nothing good.
Yeah, but when I had fresh mint put in with the cinnamon, man, that was really good. But I did have a slightly green color to parts of it. But the other thing is, if we're going to talk about this, what are the best things to have players actually go for whenever they raid a ship as part of their pirate?
Slaves.
Booty.
My answer is always slaves, bro. So just assume I already filled that in.
The booty. I'm going for that booty. I'm like a pirate. I'm all about that booty.
So,
how many Gwendolyn's do you have? I can now get robot sex slaves.
oh my god, that reminds me of this dumb joke. Jesus. What is a pirate's favorite letter?
R.
C.
No, it's C that he loves.
For funny not found.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I started off with this is a dumb joke. I have a Canadian joke.
You did.
Oh, well, are you really Canadian, Justin, or are you just really a pissed off Northern American?
I'm Canadian.
Canada is in North America, Connell.
You ignorant rube.
No, Canada's Canada. You know, they don't pay taxes here.
You racist.
That's a continent, you genius.
I know this, but I'll stick by what I said. They don't pay taxes. They're not Americans.
America.
I pay. I avoid paying taxes. Someone mentioned the lady that played Tank Girl in the Tank Girl movie disappeared. She was in a really good miniseries last year called Station 11. I highly recommend.
Argh, correct?
Yeah, something like that.
I love Tank Girl. It was a great movie.
I thought
it is. It's definitely a fun movie.
She wasn't the main character, but Lori Petty.
Well, so you see, I love when people are talking about all the weapons they get, except the problem is you don't actually have the systems to equip or to load them. It's just like, hey guys, we have this really cool yacht, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna steal Mark 48 torpedoes. All right,
Cool.
I don't think it's
Do
gonna
you
work
have the
like you
launcher?
think it will.
What you gonna do? Throw them out the window?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I know I'm going to be watching tomorrow after a show.
Yeah, if you ain't got torpedo tubes, what are you gonna do with torpedoes?
Put them in the cargo hold. Sell
We our beloved government had a really great aerospace program in the de Havilland Company. We had a really great stealth bomber called the de Havilland Arrow, and we shut that whole program down in treaty with you guys to buy some nuclear missiles we did not have the ability to launch.
Well, you know what?
Nice.
Hey, look, it's not about protection. It's about how much money can you grift.
Government. None of us as long as all of us.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I just got a glowing review for Godzilla -1,
What the fuck is that?
a movie.
That's the Japanese Godzilla coming out.
Mostly has a lot of the 1975 vibes to the movie.
If
I
they're
never
not,
liked Godzilla.
they're not them Blue Oyster Cult in that movie, I'm not even gonna bother with it.
What do you mean you got a rave review? I don't understand.
I got a glowing review from a couple guys that go see movies, and they bitch about everything like most of you guys do. And
they gave it a great review.
yeah. So
I used to go to
figured
the
that's
theaters
what
twice a week.
I'm at the theater almost twice a week.
I used to go twice a week.
If I go to the theater twice a year, it's too much.
I'm trying to remember the last time I went to a movie. The only time I do it is whenever I go see my friends and we go down to the Alamo Draft House.
Every time it's the same. The only good thing in the theater is the popcorn.
No.
I hate
We
popcorn.
get full meals down at the Alamo Draft House. We don't have to do
That does sound like fun.
well. The other thing is that I like the commercials beforehand for the Alamo Draft House.
You know what? I've been to one of those. I went to one of those movie theaters in Laredo, and it was a lot of fun. Got me a fat burger, some French fries, popcorn, and they bring you refills on your drink.
Yeah.
Well,
I had this.
Quite literally, tomorrow I will be going to my local theater and watching the 48th and a half anniversary of Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
48.
Which
Cool. I've seen that. Almost lifetime.
You have to wait for the ending credits of that movie. They're hilarious, man.
Oh God, yeah! I've seen the movie a half a dozen times, but I've never seen it on, at a theater.
The big screen.
On the big screen. I want to see the Napoleon movie.
I'm not sure what I want to see the Napoleon movie.
Jackie wants to see it. I won't be joining him there.
Well, he's going to be mildly disappointed with the Napoleon one. It's more of a love story to Joanna than it is actual history.
Well, the problem that I have with this is
I don't want to see Joaquin Phoenix face ever again.
Yeah, I just watched a movie with him.
Joker?
No,
Good
it was
movie.
a newer film.
You like the Joker there, Hungar?
The Joker was a scary film. What I liked best about the Joker was when he killed Robert De Niro, because I really
that was the only good part. That was the only good part. And that needs to, be in every movie. Let's just put it that way.
If they had a movie coming out like every month where Robert De Niro got shot, I would go to the theater.
I enjoy the theater.
I haven't been in so long. I used to go to the movies once a week. I haven't been to the movies in 5 years.
It's like my local theater is going to be doing a re-airing of Die Hard.
Yeah,
Just Christmas.
the Joaquin Phoenix
Christmas movie.
the Joaquin
It
Phoenix movie I highly recommend you avoid is Beau is Afraid.
Rambo is a better Christmas movie than Die Hard.
Rambo is a good film.
Oh, First Blood?
Yeah, it is a Christmas movie.
Does
I'm
it
not
happen during
disagreeing
Christmas?
with you. I just had to remember. Okay, he said Rambo.
Yeah, because it's actually called First Blood.
First Blood is a Christmas movie because there's Christmas decorations at the police station when they take him in.
if
Yeah.
that movie
Oh.
ended the same way the book ended, we
It would be
wouldn't
so
have
much
any more
better.
movies.
I love the way the book ended. I swear
What?
there's an alternate
Oh,
ending
First
out there
Blood movie?
somewhere.
I
What?
didn't know there was a book.
Rambo? Yeah.
Yeah, Rambo's a book.
Was it a book first, or did they just write it
Yes,
out?
yes. But the second movie was a movie first, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
I read the book. I saw Rambo First Blood a handful of times. So somebody's like, that's a book, right? I'm like, is it really? And I'm like, next, got my hands on it. I'm like, wow, this book is better than the movie.
Besides Connell, do any of you know how it ends?
I haven't seen it in eons.
No, the book.
No, the book.
Well, no, I didn't know it was a book, so I can't possibly know how it ends.
Oh, now you know how it ends?
No, I haven't read the book. I'll be honest.
Let me guess, he
I've read
dies.
Fiction.
Well, it's not that he dies; it's how he dies that matters.
Yeah.
Well,
he's talking with was what, the colonel?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he pulls up his I think it was a shotgun and just blows his head off.
you mean the
Yeah.
colonel's head off?
No, Rambo.
Yeah.
Rambo
He just-
blows.
No.
He just puts it to the bottom of his chin and goes clink.
Okay.
Well, there's another veteran that's suicide. So
Well, it's a veteran.
Yeah, or-
it's based off the veteran. Yeah. So.
That was the whole point of the story, though, right? Like,
Yeah. I almost picked that
Veteran
one for my
Blood.
vet one. I almost picked First Blood, but I decided not to.
That's brutal, man.
I didn't think
Yeah.
it was appropriate to watch that movie on, to celebrate Veterans Day.
No,
I don't know. I think it would have been a more honest.
Okay.
I used to have
Take
friends
on
that were in the
how this is
Vietnam
going.
War, and so was my one of my cousins, and a lot of my father's friends were in the Vietnam War. But
Yeah.
it was always
Well, especially since like the sheriff is all rah support the troops, and the way he actually does it, treats a veteran is despicable.
you mean like typical politicians? Anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, let's go back to piracy.
Oh! I think I know.
Back to piracy.
Back to piracy. Okay.
We have a good topic and we keep getting off of it. Piracy's awesome.
Have you never been on a shadow show?
Yeah. Who the hell are you? Because I know you're not Omanow. Someone has pirated your identity, good sir.
And as long as I keep getting the checks, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Wait, you get paid to be here?
Right.
Well, no, I'm in at work.
Yeah.
So here's a question: have you guys ever used
Yes. Sorry.
Have you ever used insert
in a
blank?
sci-fi
Yeah.
game? Have you ever used a fabled like pirate treasure as a hook or a lure?
Yes.
I've never played a
No.
pirate game.
No,
I
because
want to,
usually, how do I want to put
You don't play
this?
sci-fi. How the hell could you have done that?
I played sci-fi.
What RPG? What sci-fi RPG have you read?
Starfinder. Pathfinder, Star Trek in space, Starfinder,
He also just mentioned Firefly.
and Death in Space, the game that you hate. I ran sci-fi.
Death in Space. That's by the same people that made Work.
When I run
Death in Space is literally the worst game I've ever read.
I've actually
And-
What
and-
do you
and-
dislike
and-
about it?
no. No.
Every page. No, that's not true. The layout was gorgeous. The words that were written in that book, I hate it so much. I'm not even going to let anybody else own it. I'm like this close to wanting to burn it, but I don't burn books.
Well, you can send it to me.
No, I don't want anyone else to own it.
But I want to own it.
Oh,
I don't want to pay for it.
All right, you're acting like a Vatican
talk to
now.
me after the show. I'll send you a copy just because.
All right,
Thank you.
all right.
All the way to Canada. Nice.
Hold on. Let's bring this back. Of what I don't know what would be in there for a giant treasure, because I don't know. Whenever I play a space game, the treasure isn't the big deal to me.
Yeah.
That was great.
I was running Starfinder, and this was for a bunch of teenagers. And that's what I did. I had a planet that supposedly had a fountain of youth.
Okay, I want to say something. We can't talk about pirates if we don't talk about ice pirates.
We already did.
Yep. But that's okay. That's okay. Hungar, tell us about ice pirates.
No, you guys already talked about it, so you can just kiss my butt.
Chomp, 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 chomp on that conveyor belt.
Do I need to call the hospital where you're at and tell the nurses you're getting grumpy? Grandpa needs more meds.
He's mad because the elves
say,
aren't producing fast enough. That's why he's grumpy.
Grandpa's grumpy. He needs more clink, 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 clink.
Actually, I'm going to log off, guys, and sleep a little bit.
All right, man.
Well,
You
good luck,
Hungar. Get better, man.
I look forward to seeing you Monday, brother. This is where you say yes. I'll be home by Monday.
Hopefully.
Prayers, brother.
Yeah. If you're not gonna be home by Monday, make sure it's Tuesday.
Fuck you, Justin.
Hunger's acting upset like he's got space herpes. James Kirk.
Justin says that I'm not allowed to die until Tuesday.
He's got Tuesday in the pool.
Hey,
I got Tuesday in the pool.
Hey. We didn't say which Tuesday.
Exactly.
So, you know what?
Point.
We get to pick the year, not you. All right. So you're not allowed to break that.
You can't die until Fat Tuesday, but we have to tell you what year.
Yeah.
or
just next Tuesday, because I got that day in the pool. So.
Well, if you just have Tuesday, that's a 1 in 7 chance. That's not fair.
And it's got to be after Jackie graduates.
Nobody else is any other day. The prize is nothing.
All right, man, you be good.
All right,
party on.
He's going to take turns haunting all of us.
It's just not me, except for on Tuesday. I got that day booked off.
Oh, no.
Sorry about that.
Some of the tropes. So, I mean, history, I know you like staying away from real world stuff, but for pirate tropes, I mean, you could do Fountain of Youth on a planet. You could do cursed items. They found a mine of whatever that had cursed. It's been cursed. So now you got the Johnny Depp, pirate curse.
I've never heard of that before. What are you talking about?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, I was thinking that it was all
lying.
about.
Don't lie,
I thought it
man.
was about unobtainium and blue space booty was the requirement for space pirates.
I was honestly thinking things like stolen artwork and maybe other things like that would actually have a lot more value because of what it was and and the rewards you could gain by returning said items or just owning said items. And I do use things like psionic crystals and artifacts of that sort of nature in my sci-fi. I don't go hard sci-fi when
Shadow. That goes back to what Omanow was saying earlier about being on the edges of society. Who's going to be able to afford a rare piece of artwork out in a new colony somewhere? Where if you're stealing a power plant that could help.
See, that's kind of the point. That's kind of the point for the adventure that I would propose is that you're not on the fringes. You got to go out, out beyond the edge, out into the black, to this.
Why would that stuff be out there?
because you know, the kind of like the typical, you know, you come across the treasure map, however, some dive bar, somewhere in you know
It's written on the toilet.
In the empire somewhere, and now you got to go on this freaking wild goose chase to get the fabled treasure of Captain
name an eccentric old man space Howard Hughes built a secret bunker.
We're looking
out beyond Pluto.
We're looking for a gem that has the soul of Henry Kissinger in it. The one he lost.
Smash it. Smash it and ensure that he never comes back.
Yeah.
Build a time machine and go back and kill him when he was a baby, so he wouldn't have the blood of 3 million people on his fucking hands.
All of them were awesome, Grandma. All the Sinbad movies were awesome.
Except with the Sinbad with the black actor named Sinbad. That was horrible.
Raven. Hey, don't badmouth Sinbad. Sinbad was a great Sinbad.
It's dark humor. It's a man thing, I think.
Oh, I'm so morbid. I'm behaving.
Yeah. He is gross. He kind of is. But yeah, I like the when I do sci-fi, I like the sort of wild goose chase. You got to go from here to there to there.
About myself.
Oh, the MacGuffin?
For the MacGuffin or whatever,
MacGuffin has to make some kind of fucking sense.
I really like those. I'm getting ready to do one later next year, sci-fi, probably Traveler, where you have to, go to half a dozen planets to get all the clues to find the whatever.
Oh,
hey.
Curse necklace.
I don't know what this emoji is. Can anybody explain?
That is a sticking out tongue.
Okay.
I thought that was like the penis tip, like the mushroom cap.
I thought it was something else, but never mind.
I thought it was the self-licking stamp. No.
Yeah.
So maybe something like that. But I kind of actually liked that episode of Star Trek Next Generation where they finally found the that message of the ancients, but I actually kind of hated it at the same time. I like the idea of the clue being all over the galaxy and people having to put it together, but then the actual message was ass.
Well, I'm going to say this much is, some of the times when you're doing that is it's less, this is the problem is, to me, piracy is one of those where you don't have to go run around and find that magical thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the exploration game, when the players are exploring stuff, that's when, to me, you start doing that. It's like, oh, well, let's go find the message over here. Let's go find the ancient ruin.
If it doesn't have
that's more space. Con, I'll go.
I was about to say, you could definitely, if you wanted to, do like a 50-50 blend. Pirates of the Dark Water.
Yeah.
That's a good start. It was highly inspirational for my nautical campaign starting next year. Even though I never got to see the entire series, what was out there, I actually was friends with Chris. God, I can't remember his last name.
Man,
the guy who did the
use
voice.
Pirate Bay.
Pardon?
We gotta teach you how to use Pirate Bay because that whole fucking series is out there, man, and it's fitting.
Well, Pirates of Darkwater?
Yeah, the whole series
is
available. I watched it all after Shadow told me to watch it.
Grandma,
there's no reason why he hasn't seen it all.
If it's on DVD, I'll buy it. I just haven't thought about it.
What's this DVD you speak of?
It's not even that expensive in certain cases. It depends on when you can find it for buying, but
right. No. Grandma has a good one up there. Farscape was a somewhat of, I won't say it's a full pirate adventure, but everybody on that ship were, outlaws. They didn't steal shit. Well, I don't think they not necessarily always stole shit. But I'm
looking it up on eBay right now.
What? Oh,
I'm looking it up on eBay right now. Pirates of Darkwater.
Lex was like an interesting concept of a show.
Wasn't that soft porn for a Sci-Fi Channel?
Not really. There was a little nudity in it, but not much.
That was only the Canadian version had the nudity.
Yeah, there was a shower scene that was
Actually, I think that was
informative for when
before it
you're
even
14.
came on Sci-Fi. I think that was just like, and then they made into a series after that. Anyway,
Yeah, the mini, because it was a series of
Yeah.
movies, right? Originally,
yeah,
which then they call
direct to
season one.
video. So,
No, it was on a HBO or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But no, the themes, like if you're doing a small group of people, like we were talking earlier, 4, 5, 6, something like that, you can mine storylines out of that pretty easily.
Well, I'm not sure that you can't do certain things. If I think that's the, but if what is the main focus of it? Is to do a little piracy is one thing, and remember, sometimes governments consider piracy even the fact of salvaging. So you can salvage something in modern day. They'll consider that piracy. Like that's why you're not allowed to salvage warships.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow, do you use Amazon?
Yeah.
Amazon has the full series on DVD for $25 plus shipping.
Well, that's too much for you.
I found it 26 on eBay, free shipping.
No, it's not free shipping because it's under $25. But yeah, I just looked on Amazon real quick.
Yeah, what do you call it? I have I really like eBay because if something goes wrong, Amazon just tells you to pound sand. Like with a
Hold
recent
on. Shadow, I'm going to send Bear the link if you don't mind.
Yeah, if he wants to.
Yeah, do space
Oh yeah,
fair. Come back for all the.
You don't have to ask twice. Yeah, get your ass in here, man.
I got it.
Yeah.
You have to find a polar bear, and I want its skin. And then
the guy was actually trying to offer me a bearskin rug, fully intact. It was actually in great shape. He's like, I'll sell it to you for like $4,000. I'm was it a fucking family heirloom?
No, that's a good price.
Hey, what's funny is you can get every part of the bear except the spleen if you hunt in the U.S.
Yeah,
why not the spleen?
Because they'll make sure that you have to stab the spleen. Anyway,
welcome to the show, Bear.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing great.
Good. How are you holding up after this morning?
Dude, it's been a weird couple of days. It's been a really weird couple of days.
I don't know what the
a friend of mine, probably known him 24 years through the Star Trek RPGs and all that stuff. Like, great guy. He did some writing for my company, all that. Was supposed to be playing in my Star Trek game that started last night. His name's Doug Burke. Great guy. About a couple of weeks ago, he just dropped off the radar and nothing. And then finally, one of the guys found the GoFundMe for his kids to raise money. He passed away. And it was just like, holy shit, like guy's same age as me for the most part, he was diabetic, I'm diabetic, so it was just like, it was a real sort of like, what the fuck, and just a great guy too.
Kick to the nuts. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. Well, it's just the way of the world at this age, as I've had to say a couple of times now, I'm at that age where I go to more funerals than I do weddings,
Yeah.
Weird place to be.
Yeah.
My friends.
Go ahead, Bear.
That was me. I said my friends, for the most part, have done having their kids, and it's going to funerals over the weddings.
Yeah, it's a weird time. So, it was a little bit it was upsetting. Obviously, I feel bad for his kids, like his boys, and thankfully,
if you want to put a link to the GoFundMe in the private chat, we'll get it out there. Or you know what, send it to me in Discord, then I can do more stuff with it.
Sure thing. Actually, it's really good. Like, everybody who did go since we put it up, we've seen a jump from, like, they were stuck in the around 1,600 and they're already up to 2,300. So it's really nice to see everybody coming out and really sort of helping, because these kids, man, like, they their dad's gone, man. That's rough.
Yeah,
that's rough. I'm sending it to you right now on Discord, Shadow. But yeah, so this is the thing,
I'll
right?
definitely do everything I can with it. At least I could do. That's one of the other things with this. I'm going to say community because even though you guys are all family, it just seems so much more profound when we lose somebody like that. Because we have so much more, I think, invested in some of these relationships because we've up here at least we've fought and bled side by side, through countless campaigns. And, for me, all that stuff is, I know it's not real, but it feels it.
But it matters. And it's real for us as the connection. The thing that really sort of, thank you, Raven. The thing that really sort of jumped for me on this was, let's say one of you vanished, right? Just blip. How long would it be before us online, who are this community, would know what happened? And that's the thing, is that we are, like, if I vanish tomorrow, you guys would never know. It'd be like a couple of weeks, we're going, what happened to Bear? I don't see Bear posting anymore. I don't see Bear doing this anymore. And then eventually maybe someone who knows me in the real world might post something on the Discord. And I think that's a danger we have with this online community, is that we don't have actual real world communication networks set up, And that's
actually, Bear, most of my really good friends, with a few exceptions, we've all passed on at least phone numbers. We're trying to actually break that barrier, to where if we need something or we just want to talk, without a screen, we're doing that. And believe it or not, there's actually a difference when I talk to certain folks on the phone. I don't know, it's just weird that it's got that sort of, not just that old school feel, but it just actually feels more real. I don't know. Does anybody ever experience that?
Oh, yeah.
When they're actually using like a phone instead of, a discourse live chat or Zoom meetings and stuff like that.
It's an isolated communication feed. Like you're talking directly to that person instead of having the influence of other things in the conversation.
Right, because I do like James L and I we do a Discord thing. Me, him and I and my son we'll do a call every week. And he's in Australia, but without an actual phone number or an address or something, there's no way to let people know. And something happened with one of our friends a while back, and that sort of sparked it. It's like, you know what? Okay, it's phone number time. I don't want to have exactly what you said, Bear, happen to any of us, where we just like, someone just disappears and they just, out of sight, out of mind. And we just, maybe once in a while reminisce about so-and-so, wonder where they went. I don't want that to happen to any of us.
Well, see, and that's the thing, right? So we are a community. Whether we spat with each other, we mess around with each other, whatever, we're a community. We all wind up talking to each other all the time, seeing each other all the time, communicating all the time. The difference is if we were a community in the real world in a town, we have that network of the town. When something happened, did you hear what happened? Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And then we know what's happening, right? And RPG Grandma's statement really points it out hardcore here, right? It's like, it's so fucking true that people just vanish off the radar and we don't find out till later something went wrong. You know what I mean? And this was a real bell ringer for me because ever since COVID, I've been isolating more than I've been socializing. And I think I need to start socializing more because I've been literally just sealing myself off from the world, dealing only with people who I like, people I enjoy, and that's it. Everybody else can fuck off. Maybe I need to get out a little bit more,
I am lucky enough that I have a side hustle that keeps me around people. But at the same time, I get it. I mean, if you're using an example, if any of us disappear, I'll use myself in this one. Jade from Gatekeepers lives literally 15 minutes away from me. So if he didn't hear from me or Shadow said, "Hey, have you heard from Connell?" Jade would just drive right over here and pound on my door.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, and I just think we got to figure out a way to, I don't know, like let our loved ones know that, hey, if something happens to me, would you mind, going here and letting these people know something happened, and let them know I'm alive or I'm in the hospital or whatever the case may be. We just need
absolutely. Hungar was just here, from the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
In the show, and I've got his number, and if he'll actually answer it, unlike last week, we're going to make sure that and it's kind of sucky because of who he is. I don't even want to go online when that day comes. I know so many people are just going to be devastated. But at the same time, we do need to pay our respects and send his brother all we can when that day comes, and with each and every one of us, except Justin, of course.
You better die on a damn Tuesday. That's all I'm saying.
No, man. If anything bad happens to any of you guys, I want to do what I can to help. I'm not in the position to bail you out of jail, but if I can help, I will. And if you guys want to post your numbers privately, etc., on my Discord at least, or with whoever you want, that's a great idea, Bear. We need to kind of like a last will and testament to our online friends, let them know that can you get the word out,
so right. Let's be honest and break it down, right? We're not the healthiest people on the planet. We're not the youngest people on the planet. We're not, and the ones of us who are Gen X, we rode hard and put away wet. You know what I mean? We're not, a lot of us aren't going to see 80. You know what I mean? Our bodies are just going to give out before 80 because of the way we lived and the life we had, which none of us regret, but it is what it is, right? It's, you know what I'm saying? And then we have say Monsieur Boivin, great shape, but that mouth of his is going to get him stabbed one day. It's just the way
I was kind of thinking, I was kind of thinking that it's like, yeah, here lies Connell, did something stupid.
Well, what?
I'm either going to fucking fall apart one day, or I'm going to step in the middle of a situation to protect someone, and that's going to be the end of me. It just happens. This shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fucked up, Grandma, but you are right. The death rate amongst the human species is 100%. No one here gets out alive, so we might as well take care of each other and make the best of it while we're here. And that's the one thing I can say. I don't know where I developed it, but early on in my adult life, I just realized, don't be afraid of death. It's going to happen whether I like it or not. Make the most while I'm here.
Yeah.
And that's why I love Hungar, because Hungar makes the most, man. That guy... if any of us could just live 10% of the seizing of life that he does, we'd be fucking,
I to be honest, I'm surprised he hasn't already, hopped the plane to the Philippines, because the thought has crossed my mind as well.
He's got kids.
Once upon a time, not anymore.
Yeah, he's got kids. He's got stuff that's
and
tying
that means
him here,
more than anything.
I know. It's
well,
Now, as for the Philippines, I tell you, I don't know, Justin might relate to this, but we our pension plan in Canada, our federal pension, our provincial pensions are just garbage now. Because the cost of living has gone up so high, but our payouts that we're going to be getting, I feel bad for Justin because when he gets there, it's going to be nothing left. I'm looking at what they sent me my estimates, and my estimates were around, in combination of the two, provincial and federal, I might get $1,000 a month. You know what I mean?
That's
which means I'm going to have to keep working. I'm going to have to keep doing 20 hours a week work minimum just to make ends meet, things like that. Or fuck off to the Philippines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why people say to me, they go, why do you do all this role playing stuff? Why are you wasting so much time on this? Because one day, if I get real lucky, something's going to hit. And when it hits, it's going to make me enough money for the last 10, 15 years of my fucking life to feel like I'm not going to be eating cat food. You know what I mean?
You won't be able to afford cat food.
That's a good point.
You'll be eating
Justin's
cats.
Mom's cooking. Same difference. There we go.
You'll be eating cats.
Hey. Well, what we're all worried about is that the cats will eat Bear. That's our real.
Oh yeah, these two.
Yeah,
Misty will be chowing on my eyes in 5 minutes after I'm gone.
I tell Raven that every day.
So
every day.
I
you want to drop another link there, Bear, in my Discord to whatever projects are available that we can pick
when
up?
I have them, yes, absolutely, and we're getting close. I just talked to the heroic team tonight, and our goal now, I offered them a bonus on payout if they can get me my playtest document ready by the end of the month for the first of the new year, that we can get up for sale and get people playing and playtesting and building. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I'm actually playtesting for a couple of companies. I'd love to see it. I only have one small request. When I finally do buy the copy, I need an autograph.
Well, that will make you the
now.
better deal, which is when the physical copy comes out, because my Kickstarters are going to be print on demand, because I learned from my comics not to have stuff shipped to me that I have to then ship out again, because that costs a fortune.
Yeah.
But we'll hook up at a convention, and I'll happily put the John Hancock signature, whatever it is, on a book for you right to your face.
That sounds great.
No. It's Claricon. He's telling you have to go to Claricon next.
No, everybody has to come to Claricon. I'm sorry.
I got the subtext, but that segued into me getting to shill my con in 2025.
Well, there you go.
After all the Arduin stuff comes out, that's when I'll be doing my convention to help those guys out, because I don't know if anybody here has actually read Arduin besides Omen. There's such great stuff from a great guy from, who left this world way too early.
Is that Arneson Arduin? No.
No, that was
Arduin.
David A. Hargrave.
Yeah, it's okay, Hargrave. Right. Yeah, I remember looking at that stuff years ago, and I never got into it. So you know what? Not to be the asshole of the room, but hey, sell me on Arduin. Tell me about it. What's going on with it? What makes it so great?
He was a really interesting guy. He was a Vietnam vet who was also a combat photographer. Came back, got into Dungeons and Dragons white box, and started writing a supplement for it. And of course, TSR got their panties in a wad. We're not happy about it. And he said, okay, fine, I'll just make my own game. And he went and used everything that inspired him, from historical to fantasy to sci-fi, threw it all into this fantasy Dungeons and Dragons style world that was, just over the top, gonzo, everything. You could find everything there, from, actual real world religions, which makes Connell cringe, to historical references, because there were these portals. And mind you, this is back in the 70s, where there were portals from all over the galaxy that would land here on Arduin, in the Plateau of Forever. And you walk through the portals, and they'd be taking your information down and giving you writs of free passage and things like that. And then you'd go wander around the world that would have some of the absolute craziest monsters, the wildest professions, and it was just everything that would make certain heads explode now, that was embraced back then.
Okay.
All of the different professions that would get you in trouble, and the races and the language, and he was just raw, just completely gonzo raw. And before he passed away, he had made over 1,000, I think, different dungeons, adventures that were written and now in the possession of the new people who own all of his stuff, and they're trying to bring it to the world, because he passed away so young that it just didn't get the recognition that it deserved. And for me personally, it was always my secret weapon. I had the little digest-sized books, and I would pull stuff out of it that nobody had ever heard of, and it would just make me sound like the best DM ever. But I was just pulling stuff out of the Arduin files, and it just I was only 14, and I lived in the same state, and he was still alive when I discovered it. And when I found out he passed away, it was like I could have hopped on a bus and knocked on his door and didn't. And fast forward 40 plus years later, and I'm doing the best I can to help the guys bring it out to the world. And it's not going to be for everybody, but if you, like Grandma here says, he was the originator of the critical hits. If you've ever used critical hit rules, he was the first. If you've ever used a lot of other things that he did, like she said, unpleasant classes like the courtier, I probably pronounced that wrong, the slaver, the witch hunter, all kinds of stuff back in the 70s before any of that stuff was done. RuneQuest designer was one of his players. He was a great guy, and we all missed out that we didn't get to see stuff. But thankfully, to Emperor's Choice, we're going to see it. Omen, you've read some of it. What do you think?
Oh, I still didn't get through some of it. I mean, to be fair, I got to show it off again. I'm bad like you are for books. Oh man. Anyway, this is what I got for them, and
oh wow,
I mean, when you start looking at the book and all the locations, it's great for setting. I mean, and then
it's a complete that book he's holding is a completely rules agnostic, just breakdown of the whole world.
Okay, and what is your involvement with it? If you don't mind me asking, he seems like you're involved in it. So what's your involvement?
Believe it or not, Jackie, my son, and I have both done some stuff, but we're under NDAs, so we can't really talk about a lot of it. But anything, if they wanted my right arm, I'd give them my left.
Bless you, whoever sneezed.
Well, it's not me.
Man, there's a lot of stuff here. I'm looking at a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. Apparently him and Greg Stafford had a falling out, so he named a spell after him. That's funny.
Yeah. It was. It's just it goes back so far that so much was borrowed from it, but because it was so hard to find and hard to get a hold of, it never really got the recognition that it deserved. It wasn't perfect, and there were some things in there that could make even a staunch supporter like myself just go kind of poor taste. But he wasn't afraid to speak his mind or write down what he thought and share it with whoever was interested. And he thought of so many different things, so many innovative things for literally any genre. You could pull stuff. You could read one of his books and go, "Oh, I'm using this in Star Trek," or "I'm using this in Call of Cthulhu," or it doesn't have to be your typical Dungeons and Dragons fantasy style game.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, Stafford Starbridge. Well, I mean, yeah, if they ever come out with it, I'm going to take a look at it. If they get like something more to my, my budget.
And some of the original artists like Morno, who worked for Diablo, and who's the other guy? Earl Otis is working on it, and some other people you may know are also contributing. It's a labor of love, and it's taken the better part of a couple of decades to get it out to the people, but it's getting close, folks. It's getting real close, and it will be a Kickstarter. I'm pretty sure of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, since I have two Canadians in this panel, I have a joke.
Oh boy.
Oh.
That says it all. All right, I think you said enough, Connell.
No, this is a good one. This one's actually good.
Does it have something to do with boots or hay?
No, just let me get it out. Jeez.
That's the name of your sex tape.
So two Canadians ended up in hell. And so Satan went to go talk to them, and they're like, "Hey, it's kind of warm down here. It's nice and warm. Don't care much for the cold." And Satan gets kind of irritated. He walks away, and he turns up the heat, goes back, and now they have a grill out and they're barbecuing. And Satan's like losing his fucking mind. He's like, "What the hell?" He's like, "It's great weather. What else do you do with great weather other than barbecue?" So he storms off and turns the heat off, and it gets really cold in hell. And he comes back. He's like, "Now what?" And they're jumping in joy. He's like, "What's so great?" He's like, "Hell froze over. That means the Leafs won."
The Leafs aren't going to win. What are you fucking kidding yourself? This guy's hilarious. This guy thinks the Leafs can win.
I figured since I got two Canadians, I might as well do that joke.
So here's what you need to know. Everybody who doesn't live in Ontario, and most of the people in Ontario too, hate the fucking Leafs.
He thinks the Leafs can win.
That said, the Leafs have the most passionate fans and the most supportive fans in all of the NHL. It's disturbing.
Yeah.
In other words, they're like the Wisconsin Packers, the Green Bay Packers.
Don't they actually win from time to time?
They're like the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, they just
win?
lost the Bears. Don't tell Max that, though.
Once again, I'm pretty sure they can possibly win. Oh.
Well, it was cute. Nice try. Valiant effort. Now you know how we do at the Olympics. You know, we just finish outside of medal contention. Well done.
It looks like you got a 4.75 on that one. So
hey, Connell, we have a saying for that down south.
Bless your heart.
No. There's that one. There's also, you're so pretty.
Aren't you precious?
Aren't you precious?
Aren't you precious?
Aren't you so pretty? She's so pretty. As you know, whenever it's like,
I'm behaving. I'm trying. You know, I don't tell them the jokes are running through my mind.
Oh no, it was fucking hilarious.
Do you guys know anything about Newfoundland?
Yeah, I like their dogs.
Only that there was a book written that my mother read that was full of Newfoundland jokes.
Okay, well, I'll tell you one of my favorite Newfoundland jokes. It's a bit involved, but it's worth it if you sit through it. It's how there's a visual that's just whenever you hear me singing, imagine I'm rowing a little boat because I'm not turning on my camera right now. This UFO is flying over the Grand Banks off of the east coast of Canada, and it sees this Newfie paddling away in his little dory. A dory's a little one-man boat they use. And he's paddling away and he's singing, you know, Isa Biza builds the boats and Isa Biza sails her, Isa Biza catches the fish and brings them home to Liza. Now these aliens are bored, man. They've been booting around the galaxy and they're just like, Earth sucks. And they're like, you know, hey, why don't we use the brain ray on him and take away a quarter of his brain and see what happens? Okay. Isa Biza builds the boats and Isa Biza sails her, Isa Biza catches the fish. And he just keeps rowing. I'm like, damn, let's take away half his brain and see what happens. So they, Isa Biza builds a boat and Isa Biza sails her, keeps rowing. All right. 3/4 of his brain. This is going to be awesome. Let's see what happens. They take away 3/4 of his brain. Isa Biza builds the boats and he keeps rowing. And they're like, all right, fuck it. Do we dare? Yeah. Let's take away all of his brain and see what happens. Frère Jacques, calmez-vous.
They used to make us sing that.
Nice.
Oh.
Thank you for that. That was good.
Well, I kind of owed you one after bringing the whole room down, you know.
You know what though is that but that helps a lot. So
you still don't want to Mr. Max.
just gonna bring this up because I know you joined us for the Space Pirates. What's your view on that?
I'm sorry?
Space Pirates is the topic of the show today.
Oh, I think Space Pirates are awesome. There's a piece of Chris Foss artwork that was done for Jodorowsky's Dune, where it shows a ship being boarded by space pirates as blue spice is pouring out of the breach in the hull, making like almost like a little nebula right beside the ship. I think Space Pirates are awesome. I don't think they get used enough. It's one of the things I loved about old school Trek was the idea of the Orion Pirates, and I hate that in modern Trek they've turned them into the Orion Syndicate, where they're just a mob as opposed to pirates. You know what I mean? And there was this, I don't know where I saw it. There was a Star Trek alternate universe timeline, some game or something. I cannot find the source on it, where in their timeline they talk about the assemblage of the 4th pirate fleet at Rigel 7, and this idea that the Orions every century or so, some Orion would get uppity and just convince everybody to come out, and they just go on a massive tear like Romney across a city. They just go through robbing everything they could on their fleet until either they got broken by the enemies or they disbanded because they achieved their goal of getting as much stolen shit as they could. I think that stuff's fantastic.
Now are they green and they go wah? No, I'm sure that's where it was stolen from by GW. But
they're green and they go wah.
Orcs.
Games Workshop's orcs.
Oh yeah.
They're green and they go wah.
I assume that's where the GW stole it from. So that's what
anything's possible. I mean, GW is not the most original creator in the world, to be honest.
I had to play if I could, I shouldn't say have. If I could play a pirate in Star Trek, I think I would. I mean, there's a part of me that wouldn't be like a Klingon pirate. I think would be kind of fun.
Why not?
Viking, but there's a part of me that thinks it would be just good, horrible fun to play a Ferengi pirate. That's horrible at his job.
He's not intentional. He's just trying to travel the river of commerce, but he ends up just like.
Well, but think about it this way, right? Instead of that, like that's good, but like, okay, so he's the Ferengi who has no profit. He lost everything. He's become a pirate now. He's not really good at the boarding the enemy ship, the ships and stealing stuff part. But when they get to port, that motherfucker is the king when it comes to negotiating port fees and selling their product on the market. Okay. And that's why they keep that asshole around, because it's like, listen, Korbark, he sucks, and he's really useless in a fight. But when we get to Rigel 5, we're going to make some serious gold press latinum out of this guy.
We are definitely affording that extra phaser bank.
Exactly. No, motherfucker found us Federation phaser banks. How did he find those?
But you have to play him like Klinger off of MASH.
Well, he's got to be a cross-dresser?
I wasn't thinking of that version of Klinger, but
yeah, because Ferengi women don't wear any clothes at all. I don't think anybody wants to see that.
They do now. Grand Nagus reforms went through based on the idea that if we let them wear clothes, they will have pockets, and then they will want to put things in those pockets, which will require them to have money. And that's what the beauty of it all is that the realization of the Ferengi Empire going, wait a minute. There's 50% of our population not spending money. How do we get them to spend money now, and accumulate profit and do all these things? It's fucking genius the way they rolled that out. It remains the best Star Trek series ever.
Which one?
Deep Space Nine.
I agree. I think Deep Space Nine has the best of all of them.
I think there are parts of it that are really good, and there are parts of it that are really bad, and they're usually in the same episode.
Well, I'm going to use the Wikipedia line on you, which is citation needed.
They were stuck on a station for most of the time. That's not Star Trek.
It's a Western. No one realizes that. It's even the theme music is different.
Well, the original series was supposed to be a Western. I think that in a lot of ways that carried across at least the first two series. I saw bits of it in Enterprise. I didn't see Deep Space Nine. I didn't.
You'd like Deep Space Nine, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Deep Space Nine was really the best.
Like based on the stuff you talk about and sort of like your political view of the universe and things like that. I think Deep Space Nine would be right up your alley, Shadow.
All right, I'm putting that on my list, man.
Just remember, the first couple of seasons are a bit tough because they're finding their feet. But when it takes off,
Babylon 5's first season.
Oh shit.
The thing I hate about DS9 the most is the whole religious wormhole aliens.
Well, that's because okay. So again, everyone misses the point that it's all about a frontier town on the west and the civilized people coming in to work with the local natives to take over this town and then finding a gold mine, basically. And now everybody wants the gold mine. That's the subtext of Deep Space Nine, right? It's really interesting. It's fun.
I'm talking specifically the Paw Wraiths.
No, the Paw Wraiths are the bad guys.
Both sides of them.
Do you know about the Prophets?
Yeah. Well, I think the Paw Wraiths got worse from the Prophet storyline, but
listen, you're entitled to that. That's your opinion. You're allowed to be wrong.
That show needed at least one more freaking season.
DS9?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they hit it perfect at the ending. If you go, there's a two-part book, DS9 Avatar, they wrote afterwards, which picks up the story and sort of wraps it up a little bit for you. Those books are pretty good.
All right. Just
Enterprise definitely needed
Enterprise just found its feet when they got canceled, man. Mm-hmm. Damn it.
Yeah, and
the last season was the first season.
The death of Trip was actually supposed to not be the death of Trip. It was just sort of a cover so he could go undercover.
There's a couple of things I'll never forgive Enterprise for. One of them being Romulans having cloaking devices before Balance of Terror.
Right.
The other one being female Vulcans having Ponfar. Those two things were kind of like massive violations of TOS canon, right? Because in the original episode of Muck Time and then in Search for Spock, it is Ponfar, something Vulcan males must endure every 7 years of their adult life. Vulcan fucking males, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But everyone wanted to have Trip and what's her name hook up, and instead of coming up with an interesting way to do it, they got lazy and just said, "We'll just give her Ponfar like Spock." And it's like, okay, there you go, whatever. But at the end of that, the last couple of episodes, not the last episode because the last episode was shit, but the Mirror Universe episodes they did on an Enterprise, fuck, were those good. Those were so good, man.
And you know how I feel about the Mirror Universe. That if they did an entire series like that, I would.
Well, DS9 has some Mirror Universe stuff going on in it.
Yeah,
I put it on my list, man. It goes on my list.
Justin, let the man watch the damn show without you poo-pooing it every 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm still gonna watch it. If I put it on my list, it's like engraved in stone.
It's on the list.
The Mirror Universe. It's a good Mirror Universe storyline. I like the Mirror Universe storyline. It's just not the same Mirror Universe storyline, you know. Like the history has evolved and things have happened.
But you have to take a stance of this, Justin, which is the only way I can handle all these shows. Is I have to remember that every new Star Trek series is an alternate universe.
Yeah,
they might have touchstones to the originals, but it's not the same place. It's got to be. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for the continuity fuck ups they do.
Yeah.
Right?
The first half of Discovery, I enjoyed the hell out of it, especially when they brought Muddy.
You good sir, need to be trepanied. Okay.
Mud was a great character, and I'm glad that they brought him back.
Okay, Mud's cool.
Yeah, but did Rain Phoenix doing it or whatever his name was?
What?
Was the guy from the Office that played him in Discovery?
Yeah.
Nah.
What pissed me off about Discovery, besides for majority of it, was what they did to the Klingons. They went from Puerto Rican to having ridges to looking like cockroaches.
Yeah, well, that's the least of Discovery's crimes.
Yeah, it looks like something of a H.R. Giger inspired fan art painting, which is wow.
This is something everybody like. I heard you guys talking earlier about how you didn't like Starship Troopers was a fine movie, except it wasn't the book and da da da. This is something that you now like when you guys talk about that, you now understand how Star Trek fans feel when we see what they do with the modern Star Trek stuff.
No,
I'm a Star Trek fan, bro.
No. Here's my point. It's not just so much the book; it's the fact it wasn't a very good movie. I don't really care if it's its own medium, as long as it can stand on its own. But it was like not what I wanted when I want a lot of sci-fi is unless it's, to be fair, unless it's Flash Gordon or something like that. But where it was so off campy. But it was like this was a serious, Anyway,
what was
what
1997?
I wanted to see the technology that they had more than the bugs. But I did like how they did the bugs.
Did you see the animated show that they did, the CGI show?
Roughnecks.
Roughnecks was good, man.
I liked Roughnecks a lot better.
I've never seen it, but I heard it was.
But even that, only two of the people in the team had the suits.
No, they all had the power suits in the Roughnecks.
They had.
Space you ever seen this?
Oh yeah, I used to own that, man. That's the unplayable Star Trek game.
Yep, and I'm told it's in stellar condition.
It is. That's an amazing condition, man. That's Heritage Games, isn't it?
Heritage is my go-to back in the day favorite miniature company, game company. Just they created such goofy, ridiculous stuff. Just it was like pure desperation and love mixed in just the perfect formula.
I used to have a copy of that I got off eBay back in the 90s, and I gave it to one of my players who's still my best friend in the world, and he for his collection because he was the guy who got me into Star Trek. So I thought he would really appreciate having it. It's a neat little piece of history.
Isn't it like the very first Star Trek game?
Second, there was actually a Japanese one first, which is really weird.
Hey, Shadow.
Not really.
You need to get a fan every time you do this with your hair.
It's on. It's just pointing the wrong direction. Yeah, as Sean from Ages Musing said, when the fan's on, I get +2 charisma.
You need to be a Fabio fan
I need to drink more.
and a pigeon.
You need to drink more. You need to drink more.
I'm fairly. I mean, I dry out from time. I can go like a couple months dried out. Then I just all of a sudden, like, I need to fucking drink. And it's mainly because of this group.
The only person that drinks less than I do is Shadow.
I haven't had a drink in 13 years. Yeah.
And I tend to have about this much per year. So.
Oh wow. You and James L. Okay, got it.
Well, it's just
the only time you ever see me drink is when I do the super chat shot, and that's it. Otherwise, I don't drink in my personal life at all.
Yeah, I just I'll taste it and like, oh, okay, that's all right, and that's about it. Though it's the time of year to get that Pennsylvania Dutch eggnog that I do like.
Mind you though, when I quit, I did put in an escape clause with Jackie's of a certain age. It's okay. The reason I stopped was because he was 3 years old. I think he was 3 years old. Yeah. And he was having a birthday party, and his family from his mom's side came over, and he watched them go from, the relatives he grew up loving, little kid, didn't understand. And then the next thing he knew, they were scaring the crap out of him, because they had, within an hour of getting to our house, they were all hammered. And mind you, this was a 3-year-old birthday party with the bouncy house and piñatas, and they were just, 3 sheets to the wind, and he just didn't understand and couldn't deal with it. And I said, I was drinking a Corona, and I'm like, it's the last one for a long time, poured it out. And, when he gets a little older, 21-ish, maybe even 18, and he can.
As much as approved as he is now, he's going to be a T. He's going
to.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring this up, which is a lot of fun. So my son's mother would make beer and mead and some other things. And what he liked to do when he was about 4 or 5 is he would get the empty bottles, fill them full of water, and he would like to drink them. and it was like, and so she was kind of freaking out. In the meantime, he's like, no, I don't. And he won't touch alcohol at all. I've given him a couple
Well, I
times.
figure, he's going into the Air Force quite possibly as soon as he graduates high school. And, as soon as that happens, he's going to be surrounded on the weekends by, his friends drinking and that sort of thing. He'll either,
that might not encourage him to start drinking. That might do the opposite.
No, I know, but at least he'll understand it a little more. It's like, hey, my friends are drinking. Maybe it's not such a sinful pastime, that sort of thing. Plus, he'll be out of the house. He won't know
He's
what the hell.
Catholic.
Like I said, he'll be out of the house in another state, and it'll just be me here in a big empty house with my dog, hopefully.
Wait,
your son is a Warhammer witch hunter. I mean,
I know, right?
Or he's a Grand Inquisitor at 40K. I mean, that's your son.
Yeah.
No worries, Bear. Connell, I'm talking a fantasy world.
You have to be. Oh, I was like, you're all alone in my house with my dog. I'm like, you have a wife.
It's my fantasy. Don't.
The second
I'm teasing.
Young Master Jackie is out the door.
Yeah, as soon as
Mrs.
he's out
Shadow
the door,
is.
I'm still gonna have the whole freaking day to myself. It'll just be a little bit longer and just be me and the dog. And of course, whenever I hang out with you guys, but every once in a while I can see me, knocking one back.
No,
my point is, it's not that I hated it, drinking. It was that I didn't want my son growing up seeing me, act like that or change before his eyes, and give him like some sort of weird, thing going on.
I found out early in life which alcohol I cannot have, and I stay away from it. It's funny about the water, gin with me. Gin makes me incredibly. I want to fight. I want to fight the world. Right now, I want to run my mouth off. With gin, I want to fight. Anyways,
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
So I'm at one of my
12-pack.
I'm at one of my camping events, right? and somebody threw away my jug of water that I use, because I just drink water. I drink beer, but like for a large part of the day, I'm just hammering back water, just all fucking day, water and Gatorade. And somebody fucking threw away my bottle. So I'm like looking around, and there was like a empty gallon bottle of vodka from the night before. So I took that and I poured some water in it, rinsed it out, poured it out, and it's alcohol, so it's not going to have like crap in it. It's gonna be so I poured that.
I used it for something else.
Well, no, not at the campsite I was at. I filled the son of a bitch up with water, and I'm the first person now. I get the fire going. For those who want breakfast, I put the coffee on, and I'm being a good camp person, I guess. And my buddy comes out and of his tent, and I'm just drinking straight from the vodka bottle, which he doesn't know that's not vodka. It's water, but he thinks it's vodka. So I'm like handling it back. He's like, "Oh my God, isn't it kind of early?" I'm like, "No." And I take another swig. He's like, "Geez." I got like 5 people that day with that.
So when I was a bartender, we would take an empty bottle of Muscaskoya, fill it up with water, put it in the cabinet behind us, and whenever a customer wanted to buy us a shot, because we can't get drunk while we're working, man, that's bad idea.
Yeah,
it's like, absolutely, just buy me a shot of this. Don't worry, I'll give you the bar rate. Like normally this is like $8 a shot, but our bottles will be only $5. That goes right in my fucking pocket, obviously. But it was fun. It was good. It was a little trick I learned from an old bartender. I'm like, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, that's genius. An ex-girlfriend and I, we had a
tip. Wink.
We ran. It was a chick party, so it was a crap ton of Malibu rum, and the bottle ran out. And we're like, nobody here is fit to drive, so we just poured water in the Malibu rum and swirled it around. And every time we pour it into somebody's drink, it would still taste like freaking coconut. So it's like, they're happy, we're happy. Let's keep partying.
As I'm thinking about this, my next camping event I go to, I have to get some empty bottles of like Jack, gallon bottles of Jack, and fill them up with tea.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't forget putting in the vodka too. And fill that with water too.
Right. Actually, it was I don't know how long he was doing this, but Dean Martin, when he was doing his shows, would actually have them pour apple juice in his whiskey glass. He came out to sing. He would be drinking apple juice the entire show.
I heard Lon White does the same thing.
Now he does.
Well, no. I mean, I talked to. Well, that may be true. I mean, but I one of my friends had met him, and he says, "Oh no, I put in. I forgot, but it was tea or whatever. But everyone thinks he's drinking whiskey or whatever out of it."
Oh yeah. Well, for the Rat Pack, everyone like Dean Martin had this public reputation of being a hard drinking, gambling. He was not at all like that. That was his front persona he put out for people. But when they would go after a show and the rest of the guys would be drinking and partying, he'd be back in his hotel room watching TV. You know what I mean? Dean Martin was a really chill guy. He was apparently just a calm human being. Now, when he was young, he was a hellbrand. But when he got older, he just went, "I'm good." And he let everyone think he was still a hellbrand. That's a master, master of creating his image.
Yep.
I do. I mean, I know for those 2 shows I did with Legion and Myth, especially the Friday night. Friday night, all I could do is sit there and fucking drink with those 2 yo-yos. And
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. I suddenly have a craving for Skia yogurt, though. I don't know why.
Hey, I'm missing my D4s. You know where I put them?
Up your ass.
That's a horrible place.
So we were on one of Legion of Mist shows, Shadow, and there was some guests on. And we're not going to go into the deep details, but it was a bad scenario. And Connell came out smelling like a rose because, unlike me and Mr. Max, he just shut up and drank all night. And at one point, Monsieur Boivin just went off, and they kind of were rude, and I was like, nope, you listen to this man. He spent 13 years in the video game industry. He knows what the fuck he's talking about. Have some goddamn respect. And then I became the demon alongside Mr. Boivin, and there was a whole drama that blew up over it. It was really nonsense. It was
You're not supposed to be talking about this, good sir.
That's right. I did vow never to speak about it again, except to mention that I love Skia yogurt and D4s.
No, I was like drinking beers. I hammered one back. I'm like, 1 beer. Hammered back another one. And Bearer is like, number 2.
Oh, yeah. just keeping count. And the worst part was the best part was the behind the scenes chats that were flying around between all of us on Discord. And at one point they started going on about war crimes for some reason. And Gaming with ADHD, Brian just sent me a message on Discord that broke me that said, "This fucking chat is a war crime." I was just like, God damn. Like,
I've got to watch this, man.
I love both Maxes actually, but I haven't been on his show. Well, I was there for the Veterans Day to, help fill the time for him. But I got a game on Friday night, and it's just I just don't want to be part of certain conversations right now. At least this year. This year's almost over. I'll make a New Year's resolution, at the end of this one, and maybe it'll be to go and bother Max Liao as much as possible.
He's I mean, the last few ones I've seen, he's not like screaming at the top of his lungs as much anymore.
If he needs to vent, I get it. It wasn't that. It was never the screaming or anything like that. It's just when Connell and I we wanted to do a show, and Max was really happy about it. Doing the how to get youngsters into the hobby, and that's what I do every chance I get. Mm-hmm. My son had a game last night, and I did everything I could, make sure they had pizzas and snacks, and I let them use my dice tower and miniatures and whatever they wanted. I don't care they're playing 5e. As long as they're gaming, it's a good day. They even had their camera up on like this, like I kid you not, like a 9-foot tripod, so they could archive their game. Mind you, they're all like 15. Nice. I'm like, awesome. You guys are doing it great, and then went up here and, participated in Bo's game with Omen. But Max said that it was like the worst rated video, even though everybody prior to the video being aired was like, yeah, let's do this. This is a great topic, blah, blah, blah. And then all the other people came out and just, crapped on it because like, what the hell? We want to see, screaming and ranting, not something positive. And I'm like,
the
sorry, Max, I'll see you in a while, because we're
outrage only works for so long, and then it's like, okay, time to go something else, and that's
Yeah, we stayed on topic way too well that night.
Yeah. No, but I mean, but the whole point, if I know if they want to watch him rage and stuff, gets old. You've seen it a couple times, like, all right, let's do
yeah, exactly.
Let's do something that I actually want to get, like, and I've told him, which I'm glad he changed it up, was I want you to see review more games and talk about the games, because I like to buy interesting things or different rule sets, or is this cool or is it not, or how is it, and it helps when people talk through the game, because I may misunderstand the rules and I'm like, okay, let's go back and talk about that. And that's what I find more interesting if I'm going to sit there for an hour or two. Otherwise, there's thousands of outrage channels. They're not giving me anything new.
Yeah. Or what's his guy? The guy from Palladium, Sean.
Oh, Sean Parnell? Or isn't that?
Oh, no.
Sean
guy. Roberson, or is it?
Yeah.
Roberson, or whatever. Yeah.
The last part of the his 24-hour stream, he was back on there talking about.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious. Bear was on there.
Yeah, so was I. I was drunk.
Yeah, it was fun though.
I didn't even have to be drunk. You guys had been left like so late. They were all punch drunk. It was like, woo.
Oh, I didn't go to bed that night before. I just stayed up drinking. So by the time I did that show, got back there, I was. And I'm surprised Max will even let me back on his show. He's like, no, you were hilarious. Everybody had a good time. I was laughing like a fucking.
Oh my god, your laugh!
I hate my laugh.
Was amazing. What are you talking about? If I could find a way to record that and use it in a video game as like the evil imp that's coming to fuck with the players, but you only hear the laugh in the distance, dude, it was so good. Don't hate your laugh. Love your laugh, bro.
You need to put it on one of those keychains like Shadow's got with the sound effects.
He just needs to sell it at some point. It's like his $2 ringtone. We could just have Connell laughing.
When I was younger, all joking aside, when I was younger, I wanted to get into voice acting so bad. I was told I had an interesting voice. I can raise my the tone of my voice. I can lower it down. But I live in Central Illinois. You know how much voice acting as asked for around here? Next to fucking none.
Well, there are radio stations and there are TV stations, and they're always looking for voice talent.
I do have the face for radio.
Yes.
And the voice for the newspaper.
Yes, face radio, voice for print. That's the joke.
That's Bo's tagline for all of his videos, which isn't really accurate because he's actually a great guy with voices and his facial expressions.
I just like that he looks like Buddy Holly. That's my favorite part about Bo.
I
always think Elvis Costello, but that works.
Well, Elvis Costello was based his entire look on Buddy Holly, so then.
Bruce got this started on one of his Saturday games, but he was like, Connell, I can't help but look at you and think of the guy who played Bruno and the Robin Williams, Pee Wee Herman. Like, fuck you.
You'll always be Bluto to us.
And it's caught fucking fire. I'm like, what the hell?
So that would be Robin Williams Popeye, not Pee Wee Herman?
Popeye.
How much are you drunk tonight? You said Pee Wee Herman, which was hilarious.
Yeah, you did.
What?
I would be willing to reanimate Robin Williams' corpse to see it play an interpretation of Pee Wee Herman. That would be
or fucking DC Comics. Robin Williams was scheduled to play like the Riddler at one point, and they screwed him out of that one. Then it's like, no, we'll have you come back and play somebody else. Then it screwed out of that one. He wanted to be a DC villain so freaking bad, and Warner Brothers just screwed him left, right, and down the center. Same as Disney.
And he was a hardcore miniature guy too, believe it or not.
His daughter's name is Zelda.
I mean, the guy was he was a role player too. He liked playing D&D and stuff. He was a warning that depression doesn't always show itself.
Yeah.
Drugs are bad.
Yeah. It was hard for me as a kid when they kept telling me don't do drugs, and then I looked at the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and Aerosmith and all these really successful people who were all drug addicts. And I'm like, come on, man.
Oh my god. Earlier today, Janet from Another Planet asked what a lich was. I'm like, Keith Richards.
Keith Richards. Nah, that's giving liches a bad name.
Henry Kissinger?
I'm
sorry.
To make myself live forever, I'll put my soul in this little jar, Mr. President.
I'm sorry. Was it just me, or did he look like Mr. Toad at the end?
He kind of did look like Mr. Toad at the end. I'll give you that.
It's estimated
I honestly haven't seen a
that
picture of him in quite some time.
it's estimated that he's responsible for the death of 3 million people.
This is how ignorant I was. This is how ignorant I was of American history. Because, like I said, I wasn't raised here, so there's still a couple of huge parts I'm missing. I was watching the late great Anthony Bourdain's cooking show, right? And he's over in China. And he's just blasting this Kissinger left, right, and down the center. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? So I looked into this guy. I'm like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
What, Kissinger?
Yeah.
Kissinger was the devil.
Literally.
And that's why by the way, sorry to get political, but that was
he's
the
not
day
a
I
devil.
realized
He's the devil.
I was
you
like,
never need to apologize for getting political
cool.
on this channel.
So
I lost friends when I said I would vote for Trump over Hillary in 2016, and they were like, woo, because she said Kissinger was her role model. I will fucking vote for anyone. Satan himself could be running against someone who says they like Kissinger, and I'll vote for them because Kissinger was a piece of shit.
Look at who Mika Brzezinski's father was.
God.
Fucking,
don't get me started on the Brzezinskis with their whole Afghanistan bullshit they did.
Now, I can guarantee you that Kissinger is not in hell. That's because hell is too high quality to let him in.
He's in Tartarus.
Still.
Wait a minute. When did Doctor Who come into this?
I was just thinking that. I was letting you go. Oh my!
He's in the TARDIS.
What's wrong with all you people?
Well, I mean, come on. Wouldn't he make a great evil Time Lord?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
No.
No, he wasn't cartoony enough to be a good villain for a movie. That's the problem. He was just
like,
insidious.
real evil.
Yeah.
Actually, he would be a great Dalek.
No,
Dalek.
Yeah, no.
Still.
My mom's ringtone
There's
for
nothing-
quite a while was the exterminate. So whenever she called, exterminate, my ex-wife's like, "You're horrible." I'm like, wait till you hear yours.
It's just this.
Until you blast her into space.
It's just dead air, so he misses the call.
I'm sorry. I still love Ming the Merciless, and the
Yeah.
last book.
Yeah.
Ming was top-notch villain.
Yeah.
Max von Sydow was one of my favorite actors.
I know. It blew my mind when I found out that's who it was years later. I'm like, wow.
Well, what was
Yeah.
that chick's name? The one that went to space.
What was it? Was it
From
Ted?
here.
Yeah.
From here.
I was watching the making of Ted, and they had the guy who played Flash just talking in the background, and he was talking about how much coke he did back in the day. I'm like, oh my god.
So I have a picture. I'm not a small guy. I mean, I'm not as big as Bear, but I'm 6'2", and I'm sitting next to Sam Jones, who was the one that played Flash.
Yeah.
And he's a big guy. I don't mean fat. I mean, very muscular. And he was at least 60 at the time. And and very,
Who are we talking about?
But that was cool. And everyone
Wait for the Flash.
Sam Jones?
Yeah.
Sam Jones.
Huh.
Sam Jones is like 6'3" or so.
If they wanted to do back in the day, back when he was younger, if they want to do a live action He-Man movie and not use Dolph Lundgren, I would use him because he kind of looks like the embodiment of He-Man, at least the action figures.
Who?
You're not wrong.
So Max von Sydow is an amazing actor, and my favorite character of his is King Osric in Conan.
I love that one.
Come on, man. He's so good in that. There
Oh,
comes a time, thief, when the jewels cease to sparkle. Like, come on, man. The gold loses its luster, and the throne room becomes a prison. Like, fuck, it's just, he's so good.
I agree with you 100%.
And do you ever see the extra scene that they cut from the movie where he gets killed?
Yes.
That's such a neat. I wish they'd kept that in the fucking the theater. It would have been so nice to see.
I saw for the 4th anniversary, I saw Conan in the theater at my local theater.
Nice. What was it? A 35 millimeter or 70 millimeter print?
I honestly did not know. I was just happy to see it in the fucking theater, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm still a big theater fan. I movie theater fan. I go at least twice a week.
I used to go that often. And then the new Star Wars movies came out, and I was like, I'm out.
I stopped going because people don't know how to fucking behave in movie theaters anymore.
Weekdays, if you can swing it. Weekdays.
I can't.
So that's Sam Jones next to me.
Oh, nice.
And then that's my friend there. But yeah, that's like I said, I'm almost 6'3". So yeah, he's a big guy. He was at least 2016.
I used to have the membership to the Atlantis Alliance Theater. So Tuesdays was definitely cheaper.
I can't go when there's a big crowd. That's too much.
Yeah.
I like going in the early, when I used to work night shifts on Friday mornings at like 10 o'clock with the very first showing.
Yeah, nobody there. Yeah,
exactly. Mm-hmm. And so they're all like, "Well, how did you see this movie?" And I'd come in at like 4, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I've already seen this. Is everyone's about ready to leave?" And they're like, "Argh!" And then Texas, a lot of times they would use this as a test bed to see how a movie would do. So they would show it like a few days early. So we got to see a
Best
couple of
winners.
movies that were, like came out like 2 or 3 days later, which helped.
We have a theater here in Montreal called Cinestars, and it's in the Cheap Mall,
Mhm.
and it's reasonable. Like it's it was $5 for a matinee, now it's $6, I think, and it's $10 on the weekend for a regular time showing. No one goes to this theater. I'm convinced it's a Jewish mob front because they can't be making money. But it's a beautiful theater. They keep it well. They have all the new releases. So everything that's come out in the last 10 years, every Marvel film and stuff like that. Me and my buddy would go see it on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. first showing. There'd be 5 of us in the 5 people in the entire theater watching these movies, and it was great. It was awesome. But after COVID, man, I went to one movie and people are just animals. They don't know how to behave in public anymore. COVID broke us.
The only movie I think I've seen, well, I guess I have to see one other one there, but after was Dune. That was the only one I can remember going to the movie theater for.
That's probably the last one I saw in the theater was Dune.
Yeah. If you're ever in Toronto, Bear, the theaters that are like that are the Rainbow Cineplex theaters.
Nice. Well, the other thing I like about it is the arms on the chairs go up. So I can actually move them up and be comfortable.
As a big man, I completely understand.
So when I go to the Alamo Draft House, and nothing against it, and then they advise me that I can lose my seat, but usually when you go in, you can select your seats, and I usually pick the ones right in the middle where they have the
rail.
No, the ones that are handicapped. And they said, hey, look, if we get a handicapped person, we're going to move you from seat. I said, that's cool. I have no problems with that. And, for the most part, but they're like perfectly situated right in the middle of the theater. It's the seats have, they're nice and spacious. They're great.
Leg room.
Yeah.
So this was when Batman, the one with the Joker, with Heath Ledger is the Joker. So that was Batman.
Dark Knight
was in theater. My ex-girlfriend, me and my ex-girlfriend a couple weeks ago, mom would go see movies. She was a movie person. I'm like, rock on. We'll go. And she's like, I'll go see movies with you. So we'd see movies because her daughter just didn't have the interest in movies. And I'm like, cool, whatever. And so we saw like a bunch of movies, and Dark Knight comes out. She's like, you want to see them? I'm like, I'd love to see the Dark Knight. We'll get some lunch and we'll go see Dark Knight. I'm like, okay. So we get there. By the end of the movie, she's like, that's a really depressing movie. I want to see something lighthearted. Do you mind if we catch one more movie and I'll buy you dinner? I'm like, whatever, cool, that's cool. And she's like, and we're looking at the movie. She's like, I want to see Mamma Mia. I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, fuck, the one movie I don't want to see. I'm like, okay, we can go see Mamma Mia. So we're in there, and I always like to sit where the rail is so I can put my legs up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm just leaning up against the rail, just slightly bouncing my head off the rail to the rhythm of, the music. And I lean back. She's like, I don't know what's so wrong with you. There's other men in here. I'm like, yeah, those guys are with their boyfriends if they're not attached to a woman, to a girl. She's like, you don't know that. We get out. And I'm like pointing some of these guys out. She's like, oh, you're right. I'm like, yeah.
Bear, I love the whole thing there. I have it. And I know that Shadow doesn't like as much. But, the one thing I did like, which I wish had been in theaters by the time that I came back from Afghanistan, was Dread.
Dread was amazing movie.
Dread was so fucking good. Yeah. Dread.
Carl Urban.
Judge Dredd.
It was Judge Dredd, but they like followed the like how Dredd actually was.
It wasn't
took off his helmet. He was.
It wasn't zany enough. But besides that, it was dead on.
Oh, if you ever read the comic books, they're not that zany.
Really? They had the Fatzos or whatever that.
There were some pretty crazy bad guys who were.
I that zany. Okay, that's fair.
There was some really zany stuff that happened in the side panels, and they could have just a little stuff in the background would have been good. But
yes, you know what, Shadow, we're gonna have to put that on our list too. Is Dread. Because you haven't seen that either.
That is a
and I did like the Stallone one, even though lots of other people don't. But
I like the Stallone.
If they get taken out,
yeah, I'm taking you out for that. I know what he's gonna say.
Okay, if they remove Rob Schneider, I would have enjoyed it a lot more.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I
Hey,
love Rob
Connell,
Snyder.
when are we doing
and
13
hearing him
Warrior?
talk.
I was trying to get you and Victor to sometime on a time.
Victor's not doing streams for the rest of the year.
Oh, what happened with that?
He's just taking a break. There's too much drama lately, so he's just sort of pulling back and focusing on his writing. Can't say I blame him.
What days are good for you?
I can do a Sunday as long as I have enough notice, you know.
All right, so not this Sunday, but next Sunday after my regular show, me and you will do 13 Warrior, the 13th Warrior, if that works for you.
Sure. What I'll do is I'll put on my Discord. We'll do a movie night, and we'll watch it Saturday night with whoever wants to show up. So that way it'll be fresh in my mind.
Okay. All right, that sounds cool. Yeah, we'll do
that
a Sunday.
I'm down.
Woohoo! Whoever wants to join for that stream, you guys are welcome.
Thanks. Not this Sunday. Next Sunday. We'll see. Because right after I do the show with you, it's usually dinner time and getting the little guy ready for back to school.
Hey, Connell, for you, Christmas Eve. I'm good. I'm free.
Christmas Eve, yeah, I'm right there with you. I was actually thinking, I know I want to do Masters of the Universe at some point for the next.
No, dude, you got Christmas. You got to do all the Christmas movies that are set at Christmas.
I'm doing
Christmas movies
for Christmas. I'm doing
Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, Last Boy Scout.
Ooh, Last Boy Scout. I love it.
Yeah, Long Kiss Goodnight. You gotta go to, it's the Shane Black fucking film festival, is what it is. Iron Man 3. You know, it's all the Christmas movies that aren't Christmas movies.
Violent Night, the Santa Claus movie that came out last year.
I heard it was okay.
Hey, you know what? I decided to do the Blackadder Christmas Carol. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. So, no, the first of the all of next year. I don't know if you're aware of this, Bear. We're doing nothing but sci-fi movies.
Oh, nice.
So January, I was originally going to do Masters of the Universe, but I'm thinking I should start the year off with The Thing.
I like The Thing. No, we would save that for we would save that for October. Remember? Horror movie for October.
Oh yeah, fuck, you're right.
I mean, what was the one I said again?
Hold on. A couple conversations we're starting off. What did you say, Bear?
Nothing.
I thought you said.
I said it was doing The Thing. It's a bold move, Cotton. That's all I said.
A reference to the movie.
What was your question, Justin?
I couldn't remember what movie I said I was gonna pick.
Oh, fuck my life.
No, it wasn't that movie.
I need a beer.
Nobody wants to watch the movie. He had one right there. It's like not even a fresh beer.
Keep this up. I'm gonna have to get my son to do. I'm gonna have to get my son to do.
Ice Pirates.
Oh, Ice Pirates. Yeah, we need to do Ice Pirates still.
Last Starfighter.
Oh,
Last Starfighter is a great film.
I put a big list and people can add to it. On your Discord but yeah, I think that we had the Last Starfighter, Event Horizon. I put just a bunch of things, and some of it, like you said, is we had Predator on there.
Oh, I know. I know King Kong or Godzilla is going to be. Godzilla definitely is going to be one of my picks.
Wait. Well, no, you're right. The guy King, Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, there's the King Kong, King of Monsters, Godzilla, King of Monsters. Got Skull Island. Then you got Kong versus Godzilla.
Wait a minute. What was the requirement? It had to have either spaceships, aliens, or robots.
So that only okay. So that's King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yep.
And that is Godzilla, King of the Monsters, because the three-headed dragon creature was from outer space.
Okay.
Wait, you tell me Hollow Earth is not sci-fi enough for you?
Yes.
No. I was trying to limit it to something where it could actually be more sci-fi than just
So Hollow Earth is not.
Wait. There was one more, and time travel was the other one that was in there. So
yeah, because my second pick is Predestination, just because I want Shadow to watch Predestination.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Have you ever seen Predestination, Bear?
Which movie?
Predestination, starring Ethan Hawke.
No.
Wait a minute. You know the one that we're gonna have to watch because Bear's here because he was
No.
he was in there. So, okay.
Cocaine Bear?
Yeah, watch Cocaine Bear. Yeah,
No. He's like, no.
I didn't like it.
Funny. It's like, don't. I'm sorry.
Don't threaten me with a good time. I like Cocaine Bear.
No. He mentioned that he was in one of the movies.
I will put you in a fucking sleeper hold. You will never get out of Omanel.
Oh, by the way, yeah. When we get back to our normal, I thought about that. After he pointed out he was in that, I had to go back and watch it.
What movie?
No. You're not allowed to mention it.
Stop, guys.
Not allowed to mention the movie.
Man. The beating I will put on you will be not only epic for its fucking brutality, but also for its duration.
Are you ashamed of your career, bro?
No, it's just I don't. Okay, I try to keep that separate from the rest of my world.
Yes.
That's fair.
Yeah.
My only, I completely agree with that. I try to keep something separated. Keep it separated.
Yeah, I totally get that, guys. As you guys know what I used to do, so yeah.
Human trafficking.
Shut the fuck up. It was the exact opposite, you son of a bitch.
That makes sense. That makes so much sense now.
Hey, after we talk about
I got another
pirates
one of
and
these for you.
slaves,
Because how unbelievable it was. Can we watch Taken?
It's not a
No,
sci-fi.
no,
No, God, no. I don't watch anything like
2025. 2025 is the year of Liam Neeson movies.
I've been told that we need. I'm like, oh, I hate.
That's 2026.
Be right back.
You know what I'm picking if we were doing a Chuck Norris film? Is I'm picking Dodgeball.
Was he in Dodgeball?
Like a cameo.
Yeah, he's a
Hey,
cameo
you know what?
with Dodgeball.
If we're gonna
movies based on cameo.
if we're gonna do a Chuck Norris month, then we also have to do a Christopher Walken month.
Well, Christopher Walken I enjoy.
Okay.
Not a whole year.
Walken sold. First movie I will be picked will be Suicide Kings.
2028 is the year we watch movies that have
Wait a minute. Dune 2.
Pulp Fiction.
Or the part 2 of Dune. He plays the Emperor.
Yeah, there you go. By the time we get to that, you know.
Well, hopefully, yeah. What's the other one that you have? True Romance.
Irishman he was in.
No, True Romance.
True. That movie's got me into so much trouble.
I have
Last Man Standing.
I have that one quote as a sound file with the music removed.
I could swear it was Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis.
He did a Bruce Willis. He did do a movie with Bruce Willis, but I don't think. Oh my, Hutch and Hawk. But
Hudson Hawk. He was in that.
No, but that's the movie I'm gonna pick for my sci-fi. No,
Hey. There's ancient science fiction in there. He's trying to make.
I know where the boulders where the lines are for the sci-fi year.
If you pick
Hudson Hawk is an amazing film.
You pick Hudson Hawk, I will pick Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man's a really great film. I worked with the director of that movie, man.
Really? I love that movie.
Great guy.
Was that his last movie before he got into boxing?
Who?
Mickey Rourke.
Ricky Morton, The Rock and Roll Express. What the hell, buddy? Yeah, I think it was his last movie. What's his name? 9.5 Weeks. What the fuck's that guy's name?
He was in Iron Man 2.
That was Mickey Rourke.
Yeah,
Mickey Rourke. There you go.
Yeah.
What wasn't he in something else recently? I could have swore he was in something.
The Wrestler?
Oh, the wrestler that was halfway decent.
No. I'm drawing a blank.
I'm just thinking all the
Expendables.
So the director of Harley Davidson and Marlboro Man was a guy named Simon Windsor, and he also directed The Phantom.
With
Billy Zane.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Simon and I worked with Simon on an A&E P.T. Barnum miniseries they shot here in Montreal in the 90s. He was he's an Aussie. He was a great guy, like just a really cool dude.
I'm a huge fan of all the pulps, from Ron Ely as Doc Savage all the way even further back, the radio drama Shadow, obviously, and the Phantom, even the movie The Shadow, before he went insane. Thought it was a great movie.
Before or after the drugs, I mean, he does have the nose for skiing. Billy Zane. I haven't seen him in anything for a long time.
Fuck this cowboy shit.
Oh yeah, that was Crip.
Oh dang, well then, there, motherfuckers.
Well, I think the last thing I saw him in was I had an ex-girlfriend who really loved that TV show Charms, and he was in that. It was huge in the 90s. Up until Charmed.
Oh, Charmed.
Yeah, with
I heard harms. You got to enunciate when you drink, boy.
Yeah,
it's not just when he drinks.
Okay, I was trying to give him an out, but that's all right. That's fine.
Now I'm always giving him a hard time for that. You're gonna be on. You're gonna speak for a living. You got to practice.
I don't want to speak for a living. I want to drink for a living.
Well, if you make enough money speaking for a living, you can then make a great drinking on the side, like most people in the radio world, and die with a liver that's as hard as a rock.
I really need to get another church key because fucking hell, doing it with the ring hurts.
That's right. You just didn't do it on the edge of the of a table?
I've never learned that trick. Every time I've tried, I've broke the neck.
Oh man.
You gotta do it with your teeth.
These work real good too.
I've tried that too. I have
just be careful it doesn't explode.
That happened to a buddy of mine. He had these little cheap dollar store lighters, and he fucking opened a beer and just went pow. He was picking plastic out of his hand all night.
Wow. I've seen that happen.
I had a friend who did SEA and DAG here that would literally put the beer, the bottle in his mouth, put the and pop open the top using his teeth. I mean, oh my god!
I used to know a girl who could do that, among other things.
Sorry, what was that?
I said I used to know a girl who can open bottles with her mouth, amongst other things. I said.
Yeah, wow. I knew a girl who could tie the cherry stem. And
I knew plenty of girls that could do that.
Yep.
In fact, what was funny is when they start competing with each other and which one can do it the fastest.
I'm not going to say her name,
and that's the loser. That's the loser. It's got to be done slow.
I'm not going to say her name just because in the off chance that she sees, I seriously doubt it. But there's this girl who does SEA and DAG, and she wears a leather. She wears like a peasant skirt, and is a leather chastity, not chastity belt, a belt that goes underneath the peasant dress, and she'll take your beer and she'll act like she's putting it between her legs, and she'll pop it because she has a beer opener thing attached to the leather underneath the peasant dress.
Sure, she does.
Yeah.
Wink.
It's
right.
It's actually the crabs.
Yep. No,
well trained ones.
Actually, I think I saw the cube, but I'll just pretend I didn't see the cube, and it's just been pyramids for me.
We're supposed to get 8 inches of snow in Montreal tomorrow.
Oh,
You
man.
guys can fucking keep it. I don't want to see any snow this year. I don't want to see. Yeah, no.
There's
You live
reason
in
I live in the
Illinois,
South.
you're going to see snow.
No.
Global warming for the win.
There's been a few Christmas years where it was up in the 60s.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorite Drew Carey bits from stand up. He's like, spray cans are causing CO2 emissions are causing global warming. This is me in January standing outside my front door with a can of Right Guard. Shh, fuck the grandkids. I'm cold now.
well, I always had to laugh is when I was in Chicago and everyone was freaking out about global warming, and then they would go in like March to Florida. And I went, you understand? That's what it would be like with global warming, right?
I lived up
Yeah,
in
but not in
Chicago.
Florida. Florida would be like Nevada.
I need to.
Florida would be underwater, sir. It's flat as fuck.
Yeah, well, yeah. Assuming they put up a
In
barrier.
1,000 years, no one's going to care.
Yeah, nuclear
I'd
war
love to hear
won
what
this by then.
global warming nonsense.
Are there still protests in Montreal? Protests about what, Colonel Kronk? I don't pay attention. What are they protesting here now?
Palestine.
Oh, I just saw the word. So I was at work and they were protesting outside, and I think there were a total of 15 protesters if we include both protesters and counter protesters, and each one had to seem to have a different sign and a different issue. And we're like, what are they actually protesting? It was,
I thought about going to a protest and have a sign saying I'm lonely. I just want to be somewhere to be with people.
I just want to go out there and say I'm pro taco on one side and I'm pro fried chicken on the other. And I said, can't we all get along? Can't tacos bind us all together?
Well, in Canada, for the longest time, KFC owned Taco Bell. So there were basically KFCs and Taco Bells. Whenever you found them, there was never separate. They were one restaurant. So it was really neat. It was like tacos and fried chicken living in harmony. There you go.
No. There was a Hardee's. There's a Hardee's here over there in Peoria. I say here in Peoria. But it's
Hardee's?
A Hardee's.
Oh, Hardee's. I was gonna say,
a Hardee's.
Canadian.
There's a Hardee's / Red Burrito.
Yeah. Note, call back to that membership to the theater I had. It got me a massive discount at Harvey's.
All right. Well, guys, I'm going to head out. It's almost midnight here, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Shadow has to go off with Nathan tonight. So.
Yeah, I've got another show.
You're actually 40 minutes late for it, I think.
Yeah. I got keys to the back door. I can get in. It's not a problem.
Whoa.
Anyway, have a good night, guys.
Take care, Owen. I'll see you
tomorrow
when I see you.
Talking about a back door, one of the funniest things was the gaming shop. No, the gaming shop I used to hang out at, right? It was Nexus, and it was a straight through, right? So they had a front and back door, and the guys forgot to lock the back door one night. So someone came in early and didn't realize the store wasn't open and came in through the back door and sat down at one of the card tables. And then the cops showed up because he set off the alarm because the back door was locked. We're all standing at the front door looking at him going like, oh, you fucking idiot.
When I was 14 working at the game shop that I got paid to be a DM at back in the 80s, we also had keys because one storefront was like a game store and the other storefront was just a room full of arcade video games and ping pong tables that had been converted to gaming tables with the dry erase mat and all that. And we had the keys to that place, and I literally only went home to shower, sleep, and come right back. And there were so many nights it would be like 2:00 in the morning, and me and half a dozen other gamer nerds of various ages would be in there, and the cops would drive by and they'd look at us going, what the hell? And they would never bother to stop.
See, this is what I'm telling you.
Did you guys ever play like LARP for Vampire the Masquerade? You guys ever do that?
No, but I did this.
Okay, well, hang on. I got a story for you. In Calgary, back in the 90s, there was a very big LARP going on, very big vampire LARP. And one of the guys who played, one of the game masters, essentially, was a very rich kid. So what he did was he went and he basically they had guns, like fake guns, like prop guns, and they were basically doing an interrogation. Never seen that before. They were doing an interrogation of a guy in the back at the garage where there was a window to the alleyway. Some people drove by and saw a guy tied to a chair while these other men in suits were waving guns around him. So they called the cops and said that there's this hostage situation going on because they're like, this is what they saw.
Oh no.
Calgary SWAT showed up, TAC squad, kicked in the door. All the players this guy had hired actors before to come play NPCs and shit in the game. So they thought they were just fucking actors. So these fucking nerds are running up to Calgary SWAT head guys, sticking out their fists going, physical challenge one to play rock paper scissors, and they're getting fucking rifle butts in the side of the head as the tag squad's taking.
They're not playing.
So,
Bear, this game is the assassination game. It's a live game by Steve Jackson back in the 80s, where you would get a contract on one of your buddies and then have to kill them with like rubber dart guns or other improvised weapons, rubber knives and things like that. And we got it banned from the convention circuit because we would play this at a con where we would be shooting each other in the hallways or stabbing each other with rubber knives or using water balloons as grenades and all kinds of stuff. This was so much fun, but got us just so much trouble. Pardon?
I can imagine, man. Well, this is Steve Jackson from the era where they wound up on an FBI watch list, so what are you going to do?
Why did they end up on an FBI watch list?
Because they were producing a fucking card game called Illuminati, and it had a whole bunch of, subversive shit attached to it, and the FBI found out and were, raided their offices, stole their computers, the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
That's no...
He made some great games.
Nice. Wait, who was in office at that time?
Clinton, I think, maybe? No, it would have been Bush 1?
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember what year it was. What year was Steve Jackson raided? Yeah, I don't know.
Damn government weaponizing the FBI. Because they'll never do that.
1990 raid, so that would have been Bush 1.
That would have been senior.
You do know the FBI is your national secret police, right?
They're not that secret.
Well, no secret police are ever that secret, bro.
Well, it depends on who you ask. I mean, there's a huge swath of the population that wouldn't believe that, if they came out and admitted it.
Well, look at the person who used to run the FBI back in the day. Hoover had files on everybody.
Or Bush Sr.
Yeah.
Well, his apprentice, right? Yes, the KGB are not part of the government. Comrade.
Stop.
Oh, some people are just dumb.
I got to see my daughter earlier today. Earlier today before game. I took her out for breakfast. Got a haircut. She went with me to go get my haircut because for some odd reason that's what she likes doing it. And we're at fucking Bob Evans. I'm like, hey, boo-boo, what do you want for breakfast? And she's like, shut up, you big bear. I'm like, I'm not a bear. And the waitress is like, you can't look one. Like, Jesus.
What?
Well, there went her tip, didn't it?
What'd she say?
I don't look like that. She's like, you kind of look like a bear.
Yeah.
My daughter calls this haircut I get my angry Russian look. But my daughter's 13 years old.
It's not like you're a bad guy.
Sounds like she was fucking flirting with you, dude.
Oh, the waitress?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I don't know. Probably. I'm just like.
How old was she? That'll tell the answer right there.
She was my age.
Was she at all attractive?
No, she was pretty, but I just.
So here it is, this pretty girl fucking flirting with you, and you're just being, oh, no, fuck bear, fuck you. It's like,
oh no, I left her.
Baby bear. The answer was to look at her and go, well, you got any honey there, sweetheart?
I was with my daughter. I kind of ignore the rest of the world when I'm with my daughter.
And there was the answer. Okay.
I get my, I'm not a full-time parent. When I'm with my daughter, I'm with my daughter.
That's okay. I still like you. We still be friends.
We can't, though.
But you clearly need a fucking wingman.
Yeah. Shadow to go down to.
I'm not getting caught dead in Illinois. They would not like me there.
They'll like you in Pekin. They would love Justin and Pekin. Jesus, they would love Justin and Pekin. A certain group of people are having a protest next month.
No.
Yeah, I stopped going to protests in college.
I've never actually been to a protest.
I used to
They're all kinds of fun until you end up on a hate list.
I used to cover them for student television at college. We'd take the camera crew out and go record the bullshit. There was always more assholes. Like we'd go to these anti-racism rallies because they heard like the Heritage Foundation is having a march. 6 guys showed up. 300 fucking lesbians showed up to protest them. It's like, guys, you've won. Like you've just won. Shut up.
Ain't nothing more racist than an anti-racist.
The only I mean, when I was in college, what was being protested back? Oh yeah, 9/11 just happened, so there was a bunch of people protesting that war, and then I had some woman yell at me about it, and I'm like, just shut the fuck up, and I walked away. I'm like, I have friends over there right now. Don't fucking talk to me about that.
Yeah. You having friends over there doesn't.
You know what's the weirdest thing about 9/11? I was dating an American and here in Montreal, and we basically all of us got together and we were hanging out with her for the day and everything. And eventually she's like, okay, I'm going to go home with my roommate. And she left, and all the Canadians suddenly felt like we could actually talk. You know what I mean? It was the weirdest thing because while she was there, we're like, no, this is horrible. We understand. No, it's the worst. Yes, absolutely. And then once she left, we were like, okay, so let's talk about American foreign policy. And we were just able to like suddenly speak like, people who are not Americans. So like we could actually have a conversation without having to tiptoe around things. It was a fucked up day. That's all I'm going to say, man.
I miss those conversations. I don't get those very often anymore.
You probably got those in Ireland a lot, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, 9/11 was like Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember what day it was, but it was in the middle of the week.
All I've got to say about 9/11 is it's very sad all those people died, but whoever tore those buildings down did the world a service because they were fucking ugly.
Hey, there was this very nice Frenchman that walked a tightrope between the two buildings.
Don't care. They were still fucking ugly.
So it was the morning of 9/11 that day, and I'm in history class. And me and my history teacher just arguing back and forth, but it was awesome. Mr. Hagedorn was awesome. He'd actually let me share my stupid opinion on things. And so we're talking about the Cold War. I'm like, that's not a war. And somebody's like, what's a war? I'm like, I don't know. The last, 50 years in Ireland, that's a war. Then the worst thing that's ever happened to you other than the Civil War was, and sooner or later, somebody's
was what?
Pearl Harbor.
Oh.
Since Civil War, Pearl Harbor was the worst thing that's happened to America. Eventually, somebody's going to get tired of your guys' shit and give you a black eye. As soon as I said that, one of the other teachers comes running in the room, turn on the TV. Like, I should learn to keep my fucking mouth shut.
Yeah, and it was weird. I was working radio and film at the time, and I got woken up by a buddy going, dude, turn on the TV, America's under attack. I'm like, okay, and I turned on just in time to see the second plane hit, basically, like, because it was like, it was fuck. I was like, oh fuck. And I had to go to an ADR, an additional dialogue recording session for a film I worked on. So my taxi driver was a Lebanese guy. Now, I have no knowledge of what's going on today other than 2 planes have hit the trade centers and things are going fucking crazy and we don't know what's happening and the life is weird. This guy from my apartment to the studio just was on like a fucking death to America, America is the great Satan rant for my entire cab drive. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, buddy. People are dead. Can we relax for a few fucking minutes here, please? Like,
take a beat.
Here's the exact money I owe you for the cab ride. You are getting no tip from me, Exactly.
I mean, and when you're in that kind of, any kind of business with a tip, you just keep your freaking mouth shut.
Seriously.
Wow. Just.
Like I said, I felt absolutely horrible after them turning on the news after I fucking made that comment.
Oh, for sure. But this is like the thing, like when I was talking about how, like I said, I'd vote for Trump over Hillary back in 2016. Why would you vote for him? I'm like, because he doesn't want to have a war with anybody. He doesn't want to bomb any more fucking brown people. He'd like to just maybe do some business and get everything back on fucking track. Hillary wants war with Russia. It's like it makes her dick hard. And they were like, he's a fucking this and that. And I'm like, oh, you fucking morons.
Yeah. Go look at his past dating history. I forget the woman's name, but that says it all. It's like, if you're willing to do that, then you can't be any of the things they've claimed.
I am in such a weird position right now because I rather have Trump than anybody on the Republican side. And on the Democrat side, wait, there is nobody I want.
You don't like DeSantis?
No.
No, I don't know. I don't pay attention enough to have any opinion on him, but I did like the fact that he made Gavin Newsom look like a bitch.
He did.
That's not hard to do,
sheet
though.
of paper from the app. That was
The kids
that's
book.
what the rest of the country would look like.
The kids book, when he showed the pictures of the kids book with the hardcore sex cartoons in it, and like this is in the fucking schools in California, I was like, wow, that was a fucking checkmate move right there. Like,
I'll never get over the school board saying no, it was correct to have The Bluest Eyes as grade 5 mandatory reading. The one with the it has a graphic lesbian underage sex scene in it. Like, what one partner is under the age of 14 and the other one is over the age of 26.
Ew.
So, and
no bueno.
It's not read as a like statutory rape thing, but as a good coming out story.
The school board, we got a list. I don't know how I ended up with it, but we got a list of books that are getting banned from the high school. From the high school this year. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I'm starting looking lists. I'm like, why? I don't get this. Then I come across Anne Frank's diary.
Yeah.
Then
well, even what? That, like, well, she didn't write it. Her father did. And the newest version of it has graphic. I went to the brothel.
I haven't read the.
They've rewritten the Diary of Anne Frank.
Well, there have been parts of it that were originally left out, and they're like, "We found this chapter. We found this chapter," and every few years, another section gets added to it, and each time it gets more obvious she didn't write it, and more like, "What the fuck are you writing in this book?" And a few years ago, they added a section where it's literally him talking about going to brothels, because it was her father that wrote it, right? Otto, going to brothels in France, and his enjoyment of whores. So,
yeah,
seriously,
I'm going to buy it.
Couldn't they just pick certain editions to ban?
That's one thing. Well, that's bigotry and anti-Semitism, and that's literally the excuse they use.
I'm going to have to buy the latest copy of Anne Frank's diary, and read it. I'm not saying you're a liar. I remember the copy.
No. Always do your own research. Never take anyone's word for anything. Always do your own research.
That's literally the scariest thing you can say in public. Is do your own research.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it back in high school. It was required reading back in high school.
Yeah.
I still like the fact that in Amsterdam, when German tourists ask for directions to the Pop Museum, the Amsterdam people give them directions to the Anne Frank house. I think that's fucking tight. Like, that's just tight. It's like good. Because Germany should never be allowed to forget that fucking bullshit. I'm sorry. I know, Justin, you and Van live on this other side of the fence from me, and you can happily live over there.
It's... You take the lamps. I'll just give you the lamps, for example. The U.S. Army admitted to making up the lamps.
Okay, I'm not. Justin, no. I'm not going to have a Holocaust denial argument with you. It's not happening. It's not happening.
There are things that are just like.
Don't care. Not happening.
Hey, look, beer.
There you go.
Hey, it's the perfect time to say goodnight anyways, because I do have to get to my other show.
Your conspiracy theory show.
Yes. If you want to join us over there on the Quantum Show with Nathan Allen,
we'll talk about the Viper Dogs.
They're talking about giants, hidden history, and ufology.
What is this channel? I don't even know this exists. I'd love to check this out.
It's called it's called Nathan from the Quantum Show. Nathan's my good friend
from the Quantum Show.
I'll send you a link on Discord, bro.
Found it.
We do
Nathan
it every Saturday. We do it every Saturday night until the wee hours, or until Nathan, can't stand no more. and we've been doing it for about a year. Long story short, but I did a show with him and my son and some other people about UFOs and stuff. And as much of a passion it is of mine, it's his number one passion. And I'm like, dude, you need to do this. You need to do this show, because he was just doing like action figure reviews and stuff like that. And we became really good friends. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to do this show anymore on my channel. You need to do the show on your show. And it's taken off pretty well. He's just under 1,000 subs, and we kind of started about the same time. And I'm like, dude, this is your thing, and you're all more than welcome. Lots of people in our circle have visited the show from time to time. We just talk about UFOs, Bigfoot, spiritualism, tarot cards, the whole everything. Because
how the hell do I get on that panel, man? That sounds like the dream panel for me,
dude. Just give me a week or two to clear it with Nathan, and
yeah,
done deal.
I'm gonna subscribe. I'm gonna check these guys out. I love this. This is my porn. You know what I mean?
Really? Yeah. Me and Ancient Aliens and Daniken go back way before I ever even knew.
And fucking Stitchin and fucking even Graham Hancock and all this ancient world stuff, but also like Bigfoot shit. And I'm not into ghosts and demons. I think that's horseshit nonsense for superstitious minds. But UFOs, I'm in. I'm fucking in with both feet.
Well, before you call it quits, can I shut out my channel really quick for the off chance?
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to be rude. I wanted to ask. Tomorrow,
just do it.
Tomorrow at 4:00, me, Shadow, whoever else decides to show up, are reviewing Mark's Choice, which was the Brad Pitt tank movie called Fury.
Oh, wow.
We're doing it tomorrow. I know this movie from some of the panels already got a little bit of hate. I actually enjoyed it for what it was. But I'm at 89 subscribers. If I get to 1,000 by this time next year, I will send out yogurt and D-Force. We'll have a little
I'm in
contest. And if I can get up to 1,000, I will send out whoever wins a pack of yogurt and D-Force. If you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in 100%.
You probably want to use Amazon to fulfill that regionally.
Yogurt doesn't go bad, baby. So
And Bear, how about you shout out your channel as well?
It's not my thing. But guys, the names underneath. If he takes down Colonel Kronks, you'll see my title underneath my name here. Stop by, role playing stuff. Sometimes just chill streams and mental health, and 2 live play Star Trek games. So 1 every week, 1 on Tuesday, 1 on Friday, opposing weeks. So you can see some Star Trek shit, and there'll be other stuff coming.
Sweet,
awesome. It was great having you on the show. You guys as well. You regulars in the chat, etc. You guys have a great weekend. I'm going to be up till the wee hours, and I'm
going to check it out. I've already got them open. I'm going to watch this.
All right, I'll make sure to see you there, and let Nathan know. As a matter of fact, we're going to have some special guests, including a gentleman whose father worked on Project Blue Book, and has a very interesting take on what the upper guys actually think is going on, as opposed to what you're probably used to hearing.
Shadow, you know what got me to go into radio all those years ago? Art Bell.
Art Bell?
That's what made me get into radio.
Rip Art Bell, man. He was I miss him every day.
Oh yeah.
I used to listen to Coast AM. Then what was that show out of Niagara Falls?
I don't know the Niagara Falls one, but I used to listen to Coast every night when I worked on graveyard shifts.
Yeah.
Love that show. Anyway, good. Shadow, do your thing, man. Thank you so much for having me on. It was great talking to you guys.
My pleasure. Actually, I want to talk to you later about something else. It's a little personal, so I'm not going to talk about it here. But
sure.
Everybody else, have a great evening. We love you guys. And, as always, happy trails.
Party on, everyone.
Don't choke on a candy cane.
Or choke on one if you really like.